All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We are live. Whoa, turn the mic down. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Okay, are we locked in? Okay, there we go. People, sorry about if we just, you know, bursted everybody's eardrums to start the episode. But here we are, chat, live and well, and about 24 hours out from the NBA draft at this point. So it's time to study, people. Study. We got to see where these players are going, who's in the draft. Chat, we just got to figure out what's going on, and then tomorrow night will be fun. Of course, we'll be live tomorrow night during the NBA draft as well too, reacting to everything that happens, figuring out, piecing all the pieces together, chat, as the picks start to unfold. But tonight, as we study, we've got two things to pay attention to tonight, chat. Of course, usual course of business, but we've got, of course, our NBA draft stuff, like I said, and then Tubi's been recommending me this movie that is, chat, is expiring soon. And I mean, the expiring soon category too right now is stacked. It usually always is, but this movie, it's about a week left, chat. So get going on your Tubies and get this one on the watch list. Get it watched if you haven't yet. From 1975, it's called Rollerball, chat. 1975. So I guess the other reason we're watching it now as well too is it's been recommending it to me. I forget. I think maybe I was watching Thief or something with James Caan in it, it was just on. We were just like watching heist movies, and then it was just on in the autoplay, and then this was a recommended one as well too. But it says a top athlete of a deadly no holds barred sport that's replaced war in a corporate ruled future steps out of line when he starts asking questions. So there's a little, I guess we didn't watch Demolition live on the pod, but I watched Demolition Man a couple weeks ago, so this is, I guess, feels in line of that sort of dystopian future. Again, this from 75, just the Demolition Man's from like 93. But this will be fun, chat. James Caan, John Houseman, Ralph Richardson. Hey, yo, so a week left. If you guys want to see, and there, it looks like, well, I guess we could just pull up a picture here, chat. We've got a little hockey skating maybe situation here. Let's see, chat. Rollerball. I guess we don't want to give away too much because I've never seen this either, like we said. So this will be a first time watch for us. We're just gonna cue it up now and start and just let it play, chat, and just see what happens, because again, I don't really know. I know nothing about this movie other than the fact that James Caan was in it. Reading the Tubi description there. Wait a second. Roller pens. That's not what we want. Oh, Rollerball 2002. There's always a remake, chat. There's always a remake. I guess the thing was we were actually making other movies as well too, because that is the thing I find researching a lot of these movies that, from even the 90s instead, just a lot of movies in general, chat. It's like, oh, they've remade most movies, and now we're getting the conversations about, are what is remake culture like, what is the industry like, just in terms of overall creativity as well too, and is that why remake culture is so big right now? Is there's just a lack of that type of originality in play, or is it the originality being pushed out in favor of the IP and all this different stuff? But you go back to like 2000s, 2s, in the 90s, you're like, okay, there's a remake of that, there's a remake of that, there's a remake of that. So again, you could pull up equally the top 10 box offices from a lot of those years and go, oh, wait a second, yeah, Goodfellas, I guess, shout out. Of course, who was he, chat? Who's the guy? Scorsese and Spielberg, and really holding down, and Spike Lee really holding down the 90s, chat, and just cinema in general. It really is like, Francis Ford Coppola movies, and then, you just like add a couple more directors every decade, and then I guess we're just out of directors, but the directors are back now, chat, right? Peele and Coogler, and Nolan winning Best Director with Oppenheimer, Greta Gerwig in competition with him that year as well too. I guess not in the chat for Best Picture, anyways. Yeah, unfortunately, if I remember correctly, she wasn't nominated for Best Director that year. I guess I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been. I'm saying Oscars are dumb. They didn't nominate her. But chat, we got to go sound on for this as well too. We actually got to know sound. Do I have the closed captions on as well too? Because I'm not going to be able to actually like hear it too well. It's like, okay, if there's just a silent stretch for 5 minutes, there's just a really intense scene and I'm just locked in. But James Caan may be able to do that to you, chat. Hey, yo, pause. But James Caan, not in the remake in 02. Definitely could have been, R.I.P. James Caan at this point, chat. Rest in peace, the legend. But They let LL Cool J and who else is this? Who else is in this movie, chat? I can't even tell from uh, just looking at the poster, but we'll go into the rollerball, the page here. But I guess yeah, this is what we're seeing here, chat. So a roller rink style. I guess are they just straight up racing? You know, it's saying rollerball, so ayo, but that would imply some sort of scoring, right? You would assume baseball, football, basketball. There's a back and forth. I guess baseball. Ayo, pause. But you know, there's a baseball doesn't have the same sort of offense to defense the way that football and basketball do. And ayo, maybe that's why. Is that part of the reason? Or even hockey, you know, the direct sort of transition. I get that football, you know, has different units for the offense and defense, whereas baseball, you know, again, it's similarly. I guess there's Venn diagrams for all the sports because those guys would play both ways, but again, it's different because they change sides of the fields. The pace of the play is obviously different as well too. But there isn't a sport that's like, you know, frisbee ball, and then it just doesn't have it's a race, you know. Or I'm trying to think of a non-race sport that curling, I guess, is a little bit of a, or any kind of target type sport. You know, that's a little bit different as well too. If you start getting into the archery, darts, things like that. Is corn? Oh yeah, well, what's it called, chat? Is bags Olympic sport yet? Why is bags not an Olympic sport? That should absolutely, you know, cornhole, chat, whatever you want to call it. That should be an Olympic sport. I feel like 2020, I guess not necessarily 2028 at this point, because I think, you know, you start planning out ahead, yeah, decade plus. But maybe we get a rule change, get bags in the Olympics if it's not already. So I mean, sold out crowd, chat, for the initial rollerball tournament. Oh, chat, do we see some cancelable stuff right away, chat? Hey, yo, rollerball coming out hot with the propaganda. Or, you know, I don't know, it's not necessarily pushing, I'm saying pushing anything, but it's like, okay, are there some bad people in the crowd? It's like, oh, I guess spotted, chat. Spotted. Hey, yo, we'll have to go back and double down there. I guess they do, if you look at the post, they do have sort of the club fist. So do they beat each other up while they race, chat? So is it race boxing? Is it race boxing hockey? What is rollerball? I guess they'll explain it to us as we go here. I guess we'll just look it up. We're watching the 1975 film, but I almost want to find LL Cool J, chat. Why are we not watching the one with LL Cool J? Okay, Chris Klein as well too. Street Fighter, chat. He's in a Street Fighter movie. Jean Reno in from the X-Men films. Okay. Rebecca O'Connell, chat. Hey, yo, shout out. We don't really revisit the X-Men films that much, or the 2004 Punisher. Is that with Affleck, chat? It stars Tom Jane. No, Affleck is which one is he? He's Daredevil. Affleck is Daredevil, not the Punisher. So she is in the Punisher or Star Trek. She's in all the fandom stuff that we haven't quite watched yet, chat. Hey, yo, it is what it is. Other roles include voicing Lois. Oh, I was gonna say there's a Lois Lane role, but a voice actor role. Shout out, you know, respect. But just again, not necessarily something that would have crossed our TV screens at this point. But a movie with LL Cool J in it, chat, that definitely would have. And if this movie is not on Tubi, I would be surprised, and I'm surprised it hasn't recommended it. It's been pushing a lot of LL Cool J's movies as well too, chat. You know, you watch Deliver Us from Eva once, and then it's like, okay, I don't need to watch the entire LL Cool J catalog at this point. But wait, John McTiernan? I feel like that's a guy. Die Hard and Predator. Yeah, wait a second. What? John McTiernan's doing the Rollerball remake with LL Cool J? We might do a double Rollerball watch. That might be a pause, but it is what it is, chat. It is what it is. And we got to work, chat. We got to study the NBA draft. We got players to dig into. Knipple highlights to watch. Hey, yo. But this is fun. LL Cool J has an underrated discography too at this point. You know, with the way some of the former acts from former decades, the way they can necessarily live on. But you know, you get a couple of hits too that can just be in everybody's, you know, rotation all the time, and then your numbers in streaming will be good anyways. But yeah, LL Cool J chat. Well, any given Sunday. But yeah, LL Cool J is fun. Of course, the TV stuff, I guess, kept him occupied for a while. But the movies, a low key. I don't know if he's a Tubi MVP, but he is maybe a second team. Do we have to do the all? We might have to do an all Tubi team, chat. Lock that in. Lock that in for, I don't know, after we do like a updated player rankings for the end of the season, then we'll do a all Tubi team, chat. Because LL Cool J is making up. I would say he's making a push for third team all Tubi, but he might be second team all Tubi, chat. Again, LL Cool J has a couple of. If Rollerball, the O2 remake, is on Tubi, then maybe. Maybe he has a case. And you imagine a movie with a good director like McTiernan. Sometimes when those movies don't age well, you go, okay, again, you get a quality actor like LL Cool J, chat, and a director like McTiernan. You're like, okay, is there going to be enough pieces that there's going to be a watchability to this movie as well? But you never know. You never know. I feel like maybe I have heard of the O2 remake as well too, but. Yeah, shout out, I guess, the 1975 Rollerball, chat. So we'll keep that on in the background as well, too. They've got a little, I guess, a lot of European-inspired stuff going here, chat. But what is it? What is it, the Dutch, the Netherlands? I guess, is it all the same stuff over there? Ayo, shout out. But, oh, there's the roller, chat. So they do have a little roller thing that they have to chase around the court as they go. They also have mini spikes in the helmet as well, too. So is that it to help inflict extra damage? And somebody has a bike. So one person gets a bike. Somebody holds the ball aloft. He must hold it at all times. Oh, Chad, this is going to be a problem. We're not going to be able to get the rules that much. I guess we can look up the rules. Somebody's laid out the rules for Rollerball at some point. I guess the clubbing and the violence, maybe that's why it hasn't necessarily... well, I guess, as I say, maybe that's why it hasn't lived on. But, I mean, UFC, boxing. So I guess, is there death in Rollerball? Somebody might die in this movie. I guess spoiler, we'll say spoiler, because I guess we'll spoil it as we watch it. But I don't even know what the spoilers are going to be at this point. So, oh, Madrid? Wait, so is it actually, is this Europe versus... This might actually be, actual teams. But, what were we saying? Spoilers, something... about the rules. Oh yeah, I mean, they have UFC, so I know if this has maybe a higher death rate, but you get some of the UFC guys. I know that all the rules are perfect, but they do a pretty good job. They could definitely clean up some of the stuff and make it playable. Oh, chat, the Rollerball just took out the guy on the bike. Hey, yo, is that a problem? Is that a common occurrence in Rollerball? Because that would be something that the Rollerball Commission would have to look into. Maybe the Rollerball Commission wants chaos, though. See, that might be a twist, chat. And that, the NBA are we going to start getting ideas about how the NBA is running their league in a shadowy way? Because, and yeah, I guess we already confirmed the league is rigged already on this pod, chat. So if you're tuned into the REMINGTOM pod, you're tuned into a pod that thinks the NBA is rigged. It's just what it is. But maybe they would still want, you would think, a decent quality of play. In the AO chat, can we get some of these replays? Can we get, a good pace? Some of the foul merchant stuff? Are we going to clean all this stuff up? Oh, Chad, he's just going to, not Chad Johnson. Was it Andre Johnson? Cortland Finnegan? Just take the helmet off and just start punching the guy in the face? But, oh! Okay. So you have to go around the hoop and then... it's a little basketball-y, chat. It's a little basketball, rollerblade. I guess there is some motocross in there as well, too, with the bicycles involved. I feel like in 2025, that could be really crazy, especially as, motorcycle technology was obviously, just vehicle technology. We're nostalgic for it, chat. The 70s, 60s, 50s, we want to go backwards. I know not necessarily some of the interior stuff, but definitely, the design stuff anyways. But you're allowed to pull, you're allowed to have a guy attached to the back of the motorcycle, and he can ride. I guess a lot of guys can. So there's part of the team and there's some defensive lines. Okay, Chad, this is fun. Oh, he took a long distance shot. Hey, yo. So maybe there is some advanced analytics to Rollerball chat because the orange team just scored with almost a layup. And the green team's trying to take a long distance shot. Get to the... what's it even called, chat? I don't want to... It's definitely a pause level title, whatever we end up calling it. But we'll just call it the basket for now. I guess even that is still a little... But, you know, that's just ingrained in our NBA minds that I feel like we can work around that, chat. Okay, I feel like this could be a high-scoring game as well, too. You know, they really played up that first... I feel like that first loop around the rink. But... Oh, and there he goes, chat. He shoots and he scored. So is this Houston versus Madrid? We've got an international league in rollerball? Okay, so again, looking forward to the NBA. Is this what the NBA is going to be like? When will the NBA expand internationally? Oh, chat, we might be asking the chat GPT questions early. Hey, yo, I've never even thought, I guess we have asked, obviously, it's run simulations, and we've obviously asked questions before, but we haven't asked it any expansion-related questions. So, when would the league expand internationally? Because we know that the expansion, I believe, is going on the next meeting, or it's going. They're soon addressing it officially. I know it's already behind closed doors, probably been addressed in a major way. Oh, chat, there may be the first death in rollerball, right there. It is what it is, but or maybe I think he's just carted off, sort of concussion protocol level. But when is so we imagine within the next couple of years, you know, the NBA is going to have. Again, not just like it will have teams established in other cities like that. Maybe even be looking internationally at this point. But when will the NBA expand internationally? I guess I guess it is international technically now with Canada. Hey yo, chat. But Europe, we're looking for Europe or other. I guess more international expansion, non-Canadian expansion. Hey, yo, chat. Obviously, no disrespect. It's just maybe the overseas barrier of the NBA. And I guess just in general, it'd be like, okay, if an American league was having those kind of dynamics, like what would it look like in general? But Mexico City is a team that, or is a location that makes sense for that because you're not necessarily having to fly cross continent every time or across, the ocean every time. But yeah, expansion will be discussed. This season, I guess that's from February in 2024. But Vancouver, Montreal, Mexico City, G League team in Mexico City, NBA Europe. Okay, they are working on that, chat. They are working on that. And Simmons was talking on his pod about the little, I guess the NBA Europe, but the F1 style of it, where they sort of do pop-up events from city to city. Big three, chat. Hey, yo. But I guess them actually having a team in Madrid would be crazy. It probably would be more, if NBA Europe really got popular and they felt like they could actually have, if you could have somehow two separate leagues, NBA America and NBA Europe, and then, or, if you have a team in Mexico City, NBA Americas, and then, or I guess, Mexico's still in North America, but yeah, you just give yourself unlimited potential. The NBA Americas versus NBA Europe, and then NBA Australia, ayo. But then maybe you have the champion of NBA America play the champion of NBA Europe at the end of the season. And that's and then we can actually have the best team in the world discussion at that point. And we actually crown an NBA world champion. I guess it becomes a little baseball-y in that way. Baseball, both of the leagues are still obviously in America. But those are definitely the dynamics of it. I don't know why we have pictures of Zion in here. Oh, Pelicans may play first preseason game in Australia, chat. I guess they don't necessarily have. I feel like there's other teams with. They don't even have Dyson Daniels anymore. Hey, yo, shout out. Sorry, Pelicans fans. We didn't mean to get you upset this early. I know. Where are the Pelicans at in the draft? Speaking of which, actually, that reminds me because the Pelicans were making trades with the Wizards. 6 and 7. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily trading the picks. Not these picks. The 40th pick was involved in the trade. I don't know if it's been updated. Oh, I guess he's only got the first round here on this page, but. There's been a couple of trades, I guess, still within the last 24 hours, because I think the Drew Holiday trade was like a late night trade last night. That was you're doom scrolling the social channels getting ready for bed, and you're like, wait a second, why is Drew Holiday going to Portland? You're like, is this a this year in history type of thing when you're like, oh, remember this day when Drew Holiday got traded to Portland and then got traded to Boston? It's like, whoa, that was or I guess not a year ago today, but that was like 2 years ago today. or whatever. But no, brand new trade, chat. Brand new trade. Drew Holiday on the move. I don't know if Basketball Reference is going to have his move updated in his page at this point. But the general move was Holiday for Simons, and there was some second-round picks in there as well, too. I don't know if there was another contract, because I think Portland could just take the rest of Holiday's money as well, too. So, yeah, I guess the original trade, chat, is on here, of course, but they haven't updated from back in the day. But I guess, just remembering what the original trade was, it traded by Portland. So I guess, we'd even have to go back. So, there was a couple of days in between. He was on Portland technically for, 4 or 5 days, chat. September 27th to October 1st. So, traded by the Bucks with a 2028 and a 2029 first and a 2030 first to Portland. The Bucks traded Grayson Allen to the Suns. Phoenix traded DeAndre Ayton and Kamara to the Blazers. Kamara, who would have thought that he'd been the best piece of this trade, chat? Kamara might actually be the best piece of this trade. We don't know what these picks are yet. But, and then the Blazers, of course, trade Dame to the Milwaukee. The Blazers trade Keon Johnson to Sear Little and Nurkic to the Suns. And then Milwaukee's 20, and then the notes on Milwaukee's first-round pick there. But then Portland sends him to the Celtics for Brogdon, Robert Williams, in a 2024 first-round pick, which became Bub Carrington. Oh, chat. Bub Carrington now on the Wizards, so Bub Carrington, there was another move in there as well, too. I guess, was this the Porzingis move? Bub Carrington being the Porzingis pick is actually kind of interesting, chat. We got some Bub Carrington stock here on this pod. Traded by the Blazers with Brogdon, a second, a first, a second to the Blazers. Oh, traded for Denny Advia. Oh, interesting. That's even more interesting, chat. Because Porzingis, of course, they won a title, so as good as he could be, that would still, what are necessarily, I guess, winning a title, but just the overall career expectations of it as well, too. It's just a little bit different. But Advia, like Bub Carrington and Advia's a really good player. If Carrington was as good as Denny Advia, you're looking at a top 60, top 50-ish guy in the league. Top 40, chat, I guess we'll sit down and do the refresh our rankings from where we were at in the pre going into the playoffs. But, yeah, so with a couple of seconds with Brogdon, with Robert Williams, and then now, of course, back to Portland, like we were saying, for Anthony Simons. So let's get the actual details of that trade here fully up. How many seconds were in the trade, chat, in this move? Oh, here we go. So Boston receives 2 seconds in Anthony Simons, which is crazy, chat, which is crazy. And there's been some rumblings about, are the Celtics going to flip Simons after this? Like, is this move, are they going to turn him into, is there going to be other assets and stuff? And because it is interesting, he is an expiring contract as well. So you think the long-term benefits of what you're trying to do from the cap standpoint, are you solving that stuff from getting rid of Drew Holiday? I mean, he is cheaper, so yes. But then again, the overall is the goal to try to reset for the first round picks, not just to tank, but to get the certain contract level players on there as well too. And then you're free, and then if you have those guys, maybe you're free up to, just have Simons on the team in general as well too. But, either way, chat, I think that this is a good move for this season because, again, with the dynamics of Tatum being out, like, you can, of course, plan for what you want to do. You can also just see what happens. And this is just a good trade in, like, if you're trying to win a title, if you're trying to do all this stuff, you can get a little do you get a little overthink about it? And Drew Holiday would have been a guy a couple years ago, obviously, the value of him as a player, what he's able to provide to a good team is just different than what Simon's able to provide to a good team. So I get it. But of course, now, obviously, with some of the offensive stuff being a little bit of a step back, it is a conversation. But again, if Boston ends up with a top 6 pick in the draft because they just don't win enough games, they move up in the lottery somehow, like whatever happens, if they end up with a top 6 pick, you're like, oh man, Boston with Tatum and Brown, and because, well, I guess, well, but with Tatum and Brown, you'd be like, that's a pretty incredible asset to have on the team as well too. You could trade that, you could have a really awesome player, or if they're just really good, you're like, man, this is incredible. Like all of our guys are able to achieve this way without Tatum as well too, and there's really good morale for the team with Tatum. Maybe even weirdly, players increase their trade value, and then you can flip them at the peak of their trade value, like we're saying, and then now you're resetting the team in a different way as well too. But because there is sort of mystery, I guess, but again, it's mystery, but it's just kind of, you can just see what happens with it. It doesn't matter if, to me, they can keep Simons around, and it doesn't matter his deficiencies for the team this year. If there is some real, I don't know, locker room, if the on the court stuff is really just not a great fit, then yeah, obviously, you got to make a move at that point. And he's still a talented enough guy that there's going to be a trade value. There's going to be a trade for him somewhere. You're not necessarily, again, you need to reset the contracts in a different way as well too. So the overall flip of Holiday to Simons to whatever else is still probably going to be a pretty good flip. But this is a fun player on this team. Again, especially without Tatum, and maybe Tatum would make this a little bit more interesting because, again, he is a versatile forward for sure, but with the way he's able to have expanded his game offensively, in the way he's able to have more responsibility on the offense and play more point guard, his usage rating can go up. Like you would just, it would be, I think, a weird fit. Could Simons play as an off the ball scorer next to him? I actually think as I'm saying it now, chat, like he definitely could. Like I kind of think that Simons honestly didn't get a totally fair shake in Portland. I know that he wasn't necessarily totally healthy as well too. It's not, it's a little bit on both sides of it. But it did feel as well, too, they were a little kind of Shea Gilgeous, and a little SGA with him, with sort of the minutes management. And they were really willing to give him that contract, that first contract, 5 years for 20 minutes. It's still a pretty good contract for what you think that he could be as a player. But he still hadn't played like a ton of minutes and still had a ton of stuff to look at. Like he'd obviously had talented, and it had looked really good. But it's still just really, really limited. So they were willing to give him that, but it just never felt like there was a total willingness to see what they had with him as a player in that role. But as a heat check scorer, I think he definitely thrives. And I think he could have actually he could still have been a good fit on Portland, I think, in general. But like we're saying, without Tatum, there is going to be a vacancy for a guy to just be confident, take shots. And if Pritchard is able to step up next year, like I have confidence that Pritchard can up his points per game and still keep an efficient level of play. But again, there's still going to be offense to go around. And Simons can be a great guy to make up for that. And again, him and Jaylen Brown, like I think it could get a little ISO-y. It's not a perfect team. Are they going to win the title next year? We start talking about the deficiency of the team. But it's an interesting team. It's a fun team. And I think that him offensively with Brown next year could be interesting to see if there is a meshing there that works. If we put Tatum back into that lineup, how does his scoring complement that duo? Because again, he is a really fantastic, lightning rod type scorer like that, but has had an efficiency throughout his career where the numbers have, or the usage has gone up for him. The efficiency has kind of stayed there. And it's felt like he could have definitely taken a bigger role and still been an impactful guy as a, potential lead scorer, but number 2 scorer as well too. Because especially if you're thinking, like if we're really going back in the time machine with him in Portland there, he's in the sort of exchange point between the Lillard-McCollum backcourt. And that backcourt was obviously a really talented backcourt, both those guys all-stars. But it did feel like, and with some of the defensive stuff as well too, but it did feel like there was a little bit something missing from that in a competitive standpoint. It was like maybe Simons is a little bit of an injection in that, and then it just never lined up with him and Dame and playing all the minutes, and then Dame gets traded, and now of course he's gone from the team. But I honestly think that I think that Holiday, like Portland clearly wants Holiday because they traded for him twice now, so they got good value with the picks that they got from it, and then they flipped him into Oddville. Like they're making moves for players that they like, obviously. But Drew Holiday, they could flip him again. But I think both of these guys are interesting to see what they are on this team. And if Simons can still be a 20-point-a-game guy, a 25-point-a-game guy, I don't know, check. Because, again, like Porzingis was valuable because he could also, the defensive thing, provide that rim protection on the other end. But that kind of heat check scoring, like Porzingis might be, he's on the last year of his deal. There's rumors that San Antonio might be talking to Boston about Porzingis. And to be honest, again, with the way Boston's moving right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that deal didn't get done. And Durant's already off the table. Giannis is probably not going to be traded for Milwaukee at this point, and San Antonio's not trading the number 2 pick as well too. So it may be Porzingis at this point on an expiring deal to just bring in a veteran for 1 year. But that type of scoring as well too is going to be gone from the team potentially in the long term. So you get Simons in that guy that can be, Porzingis was the 6th man who could be a closing guy. Maybe Simons can be that type of guy, or he's just more of a bench guy. But they also have, I think, good defensive players to make up for around as well too. And again, with the interior of the defense moving into a different phase of their career, that's definitely going to be something to look at. But Pritchard and Derek White are still really good backcourt defenders. And one of those guys next to Simons at a given time is really interesting. Again, the problem becomes maybe can you play Brown, Simons, Derek White, and Pritchard all together? But again, if you're just thinking, okay, we're not going to win the title next year, are we going to try to immediately build a team to try to win the title around Jaylen Brown? I don't know if we'll go to those extremes as well too. But if we're just trying to put out there a fun lineup and assets and see what we have and just what is going to be the upside of a interesting team without Tatum, then Simons is a perfect guy for that. I honestly can't believe Portland did this, chat. Simons might be an all-star in the East next year. I can't wait to do the who's going to be an all-star in the East segment because it's going to be fun. Lock it in, chat. Simons might be an all-star in the East. In Holiday, it's not a bad move for Portland. Make no mistake, because, again, the Simons thing in Portland wasn't necessarily working out. It just feels like with him as a younger player, they could have gotten a little bit more of a futuristic asset for him in a way. I don't know if it's, Desmond Bane, 4 first-round picks for Anthony Simons. I don't know if he's that type of player. But, again, Desmond Bane has definitely been more consistent, healthy, and a really, really efficient shooter as well, too, as we've seen with those numbers. But if Desmond Bane, for some reason, that trade wasn't able to go through, and the Magic did get Simons in a little mini move to make up for that, like, you're like, okay, that's 3-point shooting, that's offense, like, that's definitely something they need, and that definitely makes them a better team. Like, I can't imagine a team that Simons doesn't go to and doesn't make better. And again, this is a really pro Simons pod. Make no mistake. If Sam doesn't just immediately admit that he's a Boston fan as well, too, then make no mistake, Jay, he's just lying to you at this point, because Simons and Jason Tatum are both on, that's like first team All-Sam right there for his favorite players in the league right now. And I think, and he's got a lot of Jaylen Brown stock as well too. So the man is just a Celtics fan. It is what it is. There's no denying it. I don't know if the Celtics trade for LaMelo. Is there a LaMelo trade? Chad, that would really, the top 2. Well, I guess now the top 2 Celtics fans in the media, because, of course, shout out Simmons with the history of being a Celtics fan. He has to be the number 1, I guess. But if Sam acclaims Celtics fandom, then he can take the number 2 spot. That's for sure. So if the Celtics trade for LaMelo, Sam is going to get a jersey. He'll get like a half Tatum, half LaMelo, or he might just get both, honestly. He may just get both. So Simons, can they flip Simons for LaMelo, chat? I don't know if they have a ton of, again, the future assets to start trading for a younger guy, but if Charlotte just goes, okay, we're building the team in a different direction and we just need to get maybe more stuff around, like, Porzingis is a veteran we can use right now, and then and then the future picks as well too. I guess they have 28 on draft night. It's probably not gonna be super convincing in a LaMelo trade. It may have to be Jaylen Brown, chat. And I guess again the Holiday trade hasn't been updated here on the trade machine as well. But Derek White's $28 million a year, 37 for LaMelo. Chat. You really want to get Celtics fans riled up? That would be a crazy when you start talking about saving money, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're splurging back on LaMelo again. Hey, whoa. Pause. But, we're spending to bring LaMelo in. But you could definitely make that. I feel like that's pretty close. Hauser at $10 million. That might get you there, chat. Hauser and Derek White for Peyton Pritchard. Oh, chat, a battle of the basketball internet. The highlights versus the analytics and the stats. Who will win out in the end? This trade might work. This trade might work. Oh, chat, it failed. It failed so close. Boston Unable to complete this trade. Incoming player is matched using multiple outgoing players since they're over the second apron. Oh, Chad, that's right. The Celtics can't trade multiple players. Oh, interesting. Oh, so it would have to be Jaylen Brown. Or it would have had to have been Drew Holiday. It would have been, well, they couldn't have taken the extra LaMelo salary back in the deal. You have to waive the J.D. Davison team option in order to get that one done. Oh, chat. The drama. That was like an HBO series there for a second trying to get that trade done. The twist ending, the second cap, you're like, oh, yeah, we forgot. Simply, we just couldn't trade two guys. But, so Jaylen Brown and LaMelo and a couple other pieces, chat. Maybe there's something there. Then you have LaMelo Ball and Anthony Simons and a young team for Jason Tatum when he gets back would be an interesting situation. But again, Tatum, Simons, and LaMelo Ball would be Sam would be front row at the game. This is all of a sudden like Sam is just the new celebrity fan. ESPN's doing pieces about this guy has been front row at the last 45. I don't know how many. Probably 45 Boston home games. Not going to get you an ESPN piece, but maybe front row would. I don't know how many front row games in a row you'd have to attend, but I feel like just being in attendance, you got to start going years on years to get the ESPN piece. You kind of got it. I'm not saying, end of life situation, but it may have to start bordering on that as well too. I'm not saying, tragically. It could just be like, guy's like 102 and he's been to 103 years worth of Cubs games, and it's like, because there was a couple of people I think they were like, that was a close one, just barely got that World Series in before we tapped out. But what do we talk about old fans for? I forget, chat. Ayo. But shout out to all the old fans out there, chat. You love to see them. But so LaMelo Ball, breaking news, LaMelo Ball not going to Boston, chat. He is not going to the Celtics, but Simons will be good on this team. Simons, Pritchard, and Jaylen Brown, that could be a fun lineup. So Porzingis to the Spurs. I'm a little iffy on it, chat. I'm a little iffy. Again, it just talks. I trust Brian Wright to make good moves at this point. That is, I know, how is narcissistic the right word, chat? But how much of a control freak do you want to be as a fan in some of these move makings? But Brian Wright is like legitimately a GM where it's like, okay, I would actually, it's like I would just definitely let him make decisions for sure. There's some GMs where it's like, yeah, he's smart, but I just would like to see his work before he's making all his decisions. Like Chris Ballard, I was a little like that. I was like, okay, Chris Ballard, he's smart GM for sure, but I would just like to review all of the Chris Ballard moves before they happen. If Brian Wright is working for the team, it's like Brian Wright at this point, we don't need to review Brian Wright moves. He can make moves in autonomy, chat. So again, it's like, the guy on the couch said that Brian Wright is able to make moves. But so you start De'Aaron Fox for Porzingis, chat. The Celtics may be asking a little too much if that's what they're thinking. I know the ages, Porzingis is only a couple years older than De'Aaron Fox, and he's actually a little cheaper as well too, both on 1-year deals. You start going you see, hey, San Antonio, you're giving up a little bit this year, but you're not. He's like, De'Aaron Fox is not even going to be on the team long term anyway. So Dylan Harper, like, you can make that's a good case, chat. That is a good case. You're like, you're going to draft Dylan Harper anyways, because, well, I guess the problem again would be De'Aaron Fox's extra salary might be a little bit too much. So let's just double check and confirm that here real quick. Yeah, okay. So thankfully it couldn't happen, but again, that'd be interesting, but you're taking Dylan Harper anyways. You're going to have those backcourt guys in rotation. They're going to need the minutes. So you're going to need that extra big next to Wembanyama, help space out the Wembanyama minutes. It would just be more fitting for the rotation. And again, it's like, you don't want to have a Fox around for a long-term contract. But maybe not quite that. So again, if they are willing to go with the younger sort of asset to trade away the player. But that was an interesting thing with Holiday as well too, and I think that is where really you just can never predict the trade stuff. And I guess again, as a guy on the couch, as you get super locked in, there's definitely a way to do it. But where it's like, okay, Portland just clearly loves Drew Holiday. and whatever. And it's, obviously totally understandable. Drew Holiday's an amazing player, an amazing guy and teammate and all that different stuff. But it's like, okay, there's clearly Portland's just going to trade for Drew Holiday. And I guess, again, we've said before, there's guys that we just have unrational bias toward and the stocks as players and all that different stuff. And it's like, okay, if there's a move to this younger player, we don't have that stock in him, but this veteran player, we did have stock in him. So it's like, well, we have a chance to give him the line. Like, Giannis is going to be in this spot, chat. Giannis, I mean, we were kind of doing a different version of it with Dylan Harper and Giannis, where, again, like, Dylan Harper at this point probably has higher upside than Anthony Simons. It would be interesting, like, Anthony Simons, his peak upside for his career, will Dylan Harper's peak upside ever be as good as Anthony Simons' peak upside? AO chat. But, I think maybe right now it is a little bit higher. But, like, it's like, okay, Giannis, is he going to be the 10-year veteran that Dylan Harper, 10-year building block that Dylan Harper could potentially be? But the instant sort of championship window that he'd provide would be incredible. It's like, oh, is Simons the long-term option, but Drew Holiday is definitely the guy that brings in the veteran presence right now. And it is a move, and that is the thing, is the part with the trades that you can't predict, and the part of the trades that makes sense in this move is the relationship aspect of it. Because, again, the Simons thing wasn't really working out that much in Portland, and it's clear that they were just prioritizing the other star players over him at this point. And that's not a thing that, again, as much as we love Simons, we just love that Portland roster. So it's a team that if we were just, Chad, if it was like a joint venture, Rem and Sam can just take it. If it's like, okay, the Portland owners want to go own the expansion franchise and they're gifting the franchise to the Rem and Sam pod, that could be the number one franchise. Again, LaMelo and Charlotte, like, I think Sam would probably go own Charlotte just to build a championship team around LaMelo Ball, because Tatum already has his ring, so he doesn't necessarily have to be the one to step in and, we got to build the team. But LaMelo's up next, Chad, so Sam would have to step in and build the team around LaMelo Ball, of course. But if it was a joint venture, and Charlotte too. Charlotte would be a great team to try to rebuild, chat. But the Portland rebuild would obviously be great. Hey, shout out to Croner and all the guys. We're going in as advisors, chat. We're not taking anybody's job, but we're going in as guys on the couch. I don't know what kind of role that is on the. That's some kind of. We'll be like some money. We're technically a money laundering position, chat. Ayo. But on the books, we're hired. We're technically there, but it's like some sort of side thing that's like, well, okay, you're probably paid a little bit too much, but we need to clean some of this off the books. I don't know why Portland's cleaning money off the books, but who knows? We're not trying to start allegations. We should stop saying franchise names probably, but yeah. So again, like Scoot, who doesn't love Scoot, chat? Who doesn't love Kamara? Who doesn't love who's the guy, the French for Rupert, chat? Who doesn't love Rupert? Chris Murray. They have Chris Murray, Shaedon Sharpe. They have Shaedon Sharpe. So clearly Scoot as well too, I think, with especially some of the steps that he took at the end of last season, where it's like, okay, he's turning this, like, okay, we can see that we're getting back on track with Scoot being that type of guy. If you want to give him the reins in that type of way, then I get what they're thinking. But again, I think Simons could have played off him, because Simons was doing that with Dame at the start of his career. And maybe it's more kind of where Simons is at in his career, where he wants a role as well too. But again, I guess we got to read more of the hoops hypes on Anthony Simons. But it felt more like the Portland sort of angle with him as the player. And the defensive stuff, I definitely get it as well too. But it's like, okay, we got Shaedon Sharpe, we got Scoot Henderson. Those are our two building blocks. We like some of the defensive wing pieces. Oh, Denny Advia. How can we not forget about Denny? Like, Denny Advia is definitely a building block guy here. Let's go pull Portland up and just see here real quick. Thibault, I guess, on a player option, chat, as well. Oh, Klingon as well, for sure. I mean, you've got Klingon, Scoot, Shaedon Sharpe, Advia. Advia's only 24. And then, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, shout out Simon. So, those top-end guys, I get the trade asset value of it for sure. But, again, that lineup does kind of make sense. I think Klingon could be just like a menace defensively, could be two guys worth defensively in the interior, almost as a center, if he hits his, upside levels. And then if you have that Scoot, Shaedon Sharpe, Simons, it is a little Advia at the 4 Klingon and Advia, Shade and Sharp, Simons and Scoot, and then you've got Chimera. Maybe it's more Chimera. If you go Chimera and Advia, Scoot and Shade and Sharp, you're a little bit more athletic. But again, I think there's lineups there. I think that different stuff works. So maybe it's the contract timelines of it as well too. But again, I think it's really just more that they wanted to bring in Drew Holiday, and he's a great veteran guy to have around Scoot. So again, if we were drafting just guys to sort of mentor a young point guard that we have stock in, like Scoot Henderson, I mean, that'd be great. It'd be great if he was also in Charlotte, like Chris Paul. If Chris Paul's not going to be on San Antonio, if he's not going to be in San Antonio, go to Charlotte and play with LaMelo and maybe help him with his point guard habits as well too. Maybe it's like, okay, after 12 games in Charlotte, Chris Paul announces his retirement. It's like, what happened? He played with LaMelo for 10 games. But yeah, either way, this is again a good move for both of these teams, because at the end of the day, Holiday's value as a guy in the organization and with this young team, like, he's one of the few guys in the league that I do think that, again, that is worth trading for, and with the role that he is, with the level that he is as a player, again, not the same, but still impactful. And you don't need him to be like Boston is a little short on the rotation as well too. If Holiday wasn't a guy that they could use in the lineup, then you start going, okay, well, what can we do at this point? We have Hauser, of course, Pritchard, but especially obviously once Tatum goes down. But then, between Porzingis and Horford and staggering some of those minutes, and then Porzingis was obviously injured as well too. The lineup did just get a little bit thin. Again, Portland's got depth. They're not trying to win a title. They don't need Drew Holiday to be the amazing two-way type guy. They need him to be a veteran leader. They need him to be off ball, doing the little things on the side as well too. Hopefully Drew Holiday doesn't train bad habits into the star, but like Drew Holiday will do all the good habit stuff, and then just Scoot can just keep having bad habits. Drew Holiday will make up for all the stuff. But again, like a LeBron type, just like I'll hit 12 shots and just make up for it. But I'll be the one that plays defense. I'll be the one that gets rebounds. I'll be the one that still does all that stuff. Because there was still a little bit of physicality with him in the playoffs as well too against New York. Maybe they even could have used it a little bit more with him going to the basket. But if we were like the veteran leadership rankings, chat, that'd be a good one. And you don't want to leave anybody out as well too. It could definitely be a pretty crazy list. But again, the guys that could be a top 7 rotation guy for a title team, but for just most teams in the league, like, we still value Drew Holiday, even if it's, okay, are we really starting to, pick some nits at the last couple of levels here, really trying to get a title. But again, either Simons or Drew Holiday, both those guys would be better, or either team that they go to definitely get better with their presence in the organization. I mean, Drew Holiday on the Pacers, how does he not help the Pacers next year? Drew Holiday, maybe him back to the Bucks. Drew Holiday back to the Bucks is the one team you're like, wouldn't maybe do something else but Drew Holiday. But with the way the East looks next year, maybe Drew Holiday is actually what you need as well too. So Simons to the Bucks, chat. Is there any way if Simons did go to the Bucks, and again, that would be him playing with Giannis. So do we need to evaluate this with Tatum? I guess I don't even remember what I said earlier, chat, about him not being able to play with Tatum, but that was more just like okay, could he get a little too ISO heavy? But as much as it is a question, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe he could find a role as an off-ball scorer, and I think especially now as well too, there's enough offense to go around. I get that, especially this finals was a real defensive finals, especially, but like any sort of playoff series and any sort of high-level game, it does get focused down to your high-level stars and your high-level shot creators, and Simons can still be that third shot creator in a game, in a playoff series, especially if you're thinking long-term, him next to Tatum and Brown, I do think that's actually a killer combo, Chad. I think that's a killer combo. And again, Derek White, I guess 4 years, $28 million. He'll probably be on the team, but there is at least he's insurance there as well too. Again, he's not the defensive player, but at least there's some rotational minutes long term if you were to lock him down and keep him around. So Pritchard, teams just get expensive, and it's going to be difficult to manage all of this stuff for sure. But even in the year to year, if it's 1 year, if it's not, I like it. I guess is worst case scenario, he makes the team too good, and then they're like the 16th, 17th pick in the draft. But I don't see why that's a bad thing. 16th. So wait, who is the 16th? Is that Orlando this year? Yeah, Orlando was his, so that's like the 7th seed in the East, the 6th or the 7th seed in the East. Miami, and there's Detroit was the 6th seed in the East. Yeah. So if you're the 6th seed in the East, that's probably a pretty good season. If you're thinking, okay, if you're not in the play-in game after just losing Tatum, yeah, with what the East looks like, who knows? But I would still imagine that's a pretty successful season. So if Simons gives you that kind of morale and that kind of success and still able to compete, that kind of playoff revenue, chat. I mean, imagine you cut taxes, you bring in a fun guy like Simons to score some points, and he may still help you generate some playoff revenue at the end of the day. I mean, it's a win-win. It's really a win-win. I can't see how it goes bad. And I guess to, kind of put together the pieces that we were saying with Holiday's veteran experience, the part, I guess, for this move, not just the player aspect of why they would do it, but again, the timeline aspect of not why would they do it, but I can't believe that there was actually, again, a move for Boston to get this type of, at least, ability in that timeline reset. We're not, trying to double talk a little bit with like, oh, it's Holiday, what are you going to get for him? But is it going to be a more veteran type player, a little bit more break the contracts up into a couple of guys, maybe some second round picks or more lottery protect? You did get some second round picks back for him, but maybe a lottery protected first if the asset stuff isn't quite the same level going back. But for them to get an equal level player that is younger and equal level is okay, but a guy that could be an equal level player who is definitely on a major timeline younger and on a different contract as well too, is just 3 boxes they checked in a trade that it would have just been really difficult. And the fact that, again, they got that in one of the moves is great. So the Porzingis thing can be whatever. And it's a team, again, if they have to make a move in the season, that's not the worst thing in the world either. Because guess what? You're not winning the title. And this whole offseason, we thought that they were not going to, it's like, okay, are we going to trade Drew Holiday and Porzingis? And probably not Derek White. But, how desperate do we get for some of this reset stuff? But if they had to trade Porzingis in February or January or whatever, and who knows, again, what does his trade value look like at that point as well too? But this is a good move. This is, again, and Simons might be our favorite player that has been traded so far, but this might be our favorite. I guess I can't speak for Sam, but this might be my favorite move so far of all the moves. The Desmond Bane move, I think, has the chance to be the most title impacting. Again, the Eastern Conference is definitely a part of it. The Durant move, bigger legacy guy, obviously, maybe the most points per game added to a team with Durant, or not added, but player-wise in the trade for sure, or on the trade market at this point. Unless next trade chat, Jordan Poole, unless Jordan Poole goes crazy, because he's in New Orleans now. So what was that move? And that move was another interesting move in the, I think, similar vein of this Simons move, where if we were comparing it to the Simons move, what Portland got, I actually think, well, here, let me double check again, because I think I would actually kind of, this would be a situation where it's like, okay, let's just get Drew Holiday in here and see what is going on with him as a veteran player. But oh wait, did we spell Jordan with 2 A's, chat? Hey, yo, double type in there. I don't know why. Shout out Jordan Poole, the outfielder for the Washington Nationals, I guess. So Jordan Poole, 2-year deal. They don't have it totally updated yet. Wait, transactions, chat? Where's his transactions? Here we go. Traded to New Orleans. Oh, McCollum, that's the guy. Okay, so with Sadiq Bey, New Orleans, Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey for CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, future second-round picks. I feel like we've looked up Sadiq Bey's health status a couple of times, but why is Sadiq Bey being thrown into the Jordan Poole trade as well too? I mean, maybe, again, we're just unreasonably biased here, but okay, it's not like there's not just a headline article here that says Sadiq Bey crippled, can't walk, we'll never be able to play basketball again. So that could be a fun piece to get back as well too if you're New Orleans. Again, I don't know what type of team you're going to be if you're New Orleans next year, but again, Washington just kind of punting on Jordan Poole like that is kind of tough. So I don't know if this is like our first draft sort of preview-y type move, because again, a lot of these other moves have been for the top team sort of shuffling around and trying to acquire top talent. But this does feel like, well, not even does, it's the 6th and 7th teams in the draft making a move. But this is and I guess it doesn't involve a pick in this year's draft, I guess is what we're saying. But it does feel like a move geared to this year's draft because, again, you already have Bub Carrington there, who's going to be a guy that you're going to want to see as a main guard next season in that lineup. And with the 6th pick in the draft, I know Jeremiah Fears is kind of a little bit of a controversial player at this point, but either way, you're looking at Trey Johnson, Ace Bailey, I guess literally any of these guys, Chad. Obviously, the really only guarantee at this point is that Cooper Flagg is going 1 and Dylan Harper is going 2, and then maybe Edgecombe probably won't be there at 6. Will he go 3 exactly? No, but I guess maybe he'll probably go 4 to Charlotte or 5 to Utah. Either way, so we know that Edgecombe will be in the top 5, and we know that Knipple will be in the top 5 as well too. And I guess probably Ace Bailey. So it may be a sort of a tier of, or maybe a 3-tier situation of 1 with Flagg, 1 with Harper, and then 1 with the next 3 guys. But either way, if one of those 3 guys falls, I guess Ace Bailey would be a different type of lineup guy. But Edgecombe, Knipple, Trey Johnson, Jeremiah Fears, even Kasparis Jakuonis, Chad, hey, yo. Even him, like, any of those guys guard, gonna need to get the usage minutes in the offense to go forward and have the development. So it's clear that they're obviously taking that type of guy. And again, that's who's on the board for him. But I guess there was some conversation as well too about Maluk going to 6 at Washington. So if they were going to go center, would they need to trade Jordan Poole? They don't trust Jordan Poole to set up Maluk correctly, so they trade Jordan Poole for McCollum in that way. And McCollum as a veteran, again, great veteran guy, president of the Players Association right now. So clearly there's a professionalism that he's going to be able to provide to the team. But he's just not a guy that you couldn't have. You don't want to say a 0 trade value trade because that's shout out to CJ McCollum. But with his contract, it's a different situation as well too. So it does seem like a little bit of okay, we're focused more on the future than what we're actually getting with this specific trade, or more like what this trade will allow us to do going forward with the guys that we're going to be able to acquire, the minutes that we're going to be able to disperse around, the types of shots that, the shot distribution that we're going to be able to have in the offense as well now too. Because maybe they have a couple other guards that I'm not thinking about as well. So here, let's go back to the Wizards team. And we have to double check who's on the Wizards, chat. Hey, yo. Oh, I have Marcus Smart, Chris Middleton. Okay, hot start. Oh, AJ Johnson, technically listed as a point guard. I feel like he's a little bit more, 2-guard-ish. What is he, like 6'5", chat? AJ Johnson? 6'4"? Okay, yeah, but I do feel like he is a little more off the ball, off guard type player. But even he kind of seems like a nice guy. Champagnie, he's going to need some of those wing-ish backcourt minutes as well too. And then you go saying Keyshawn George. So a lot of talent that you really like, just kind of making way for that. And then the guy that you're going to have to add as well too. And then who else do the Wizards? The Wizards, they have to have another pick, right? They have just 6. The Wizards have been slacking. Everybody's acquiring all these trades. Oh, they have 6 and 18. So Igor Denham is a potential other guy as well. So 6'9.5", 6'10" point guard, I guess, from BYU is. This might be the first guy we have to watch in the highlights, chat. Hey, yo, 6'10", 199. Imagine this guy next to Wemby. We got Danny Wolf and Igor Denham back-to-back picks. Interesting players. Danny Wolf, sort of, thicker Igor Denham. I don't know if that's the comp, chat. But our guy Igor, 7 assists. Danny Wolf, 15, 11, and 4. Again, shout out to Simmons, but he's over here hating on our guy Danny Wolf. Hey, yo, Danny Wolf's going to be... What's one of the random awards Danny Wolf can win? I guess he can win Clutch Player of a Year. Danny Wolf could be an all-star. In the East, Danny Wolf's an all-star, chat. Lock it in. Where's he at right now? Oh, Minnesota. So wait, if Danny Wolf Do we have to go a Chat GPT, Danny Wolf, situation? I don't know, chat. Actually, we need to take a quick break, and then we might have to do a Chat GPT Danny Wolf question in just a second. Hey, we'll be right back, Jack. Are we back? There we go. Were we talking about Igor Denim? I think we were. Hey, yo, chat. Or no, we were talking about Danny Wolf. Where would Danny Wolf be an all-star on the East if he was there? Atlanta? Danny Wolf and Trae Young scoring 160 points a game? Could that be an all-star team? Just lean into the offense, chat. You have Trae Young. Honestly, you have enough defense. Jalen Johnson will be enough. Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson's enough defense for any team. You can afford Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf can be a center in that type of lineup. You want Derek King or Danny Wolf? Danny Wolf was out here torching Derek King in the Big Ten tournament, chat. And Derek King's going to go 10 spots higher than Danny Wolf. It's just not right. It's just not right. Who is Danny Wolf's comp, chat? Shout out to the Ringer. Let's see what we got going here for Danny Wolf. Because I got to be honest, I don't actually draft based on players' skills. I draft based on their comparisons. I go, well, wait, why would I want, Roy Hibbert when I can have Tim Duncan? We're calling this guy Tim Duncan, this guy Roy Hibbert, but this guy's the 5th pick. But Danny Wolf is being compared to Turkoglu, Maxi Kleber, Mike Muscala, and Bielitsa. Turkoglu obviously would be great, Chad. Turkoglu was taking that Magic team to the finals with Dwight Howard. But Kleber, Muscala, and Bielitsa is an interesting sort of baseline form as well, too. But that's still an NBA guy. Those guys have had NBA careers and been around for a while and been impactful rotation guys. And maybe if they were on better teams, would have been in better, maybe in better playoff situations. Like Kleber has had his moments in the playoffs with the Mavs for sure. So Danny Wolf, Maxi Kleber, I think Kleber might be a little bit better of a defender. Like the switchability for Kleber is pretty good. I think Muscala's a good one. Turkoglu's honestly a good one. Turkoglu is not bad. Again, maybe Turkoglu a little bit better with the foot speed, but him on Chicago, Vooch, Danny Wolf and Vooch, could he be an all-star in Chicago? Him and Josh Giddey and Vooch and Kobe White, that could be an interesting team. I mean, I guess Danny Wolf's gonna have to do a lot to be an all-star. He might have to be the best team he might have to be the best player on the team right away or up there. So Chicago is kind of an interesting balanced lineup where would he kind of fit into the balance? Matas as well too, you know, in his second year. Danny Wolf and again in the Derek King spot in Phoenix, no defense, but that could be pretty fun as well. Him in San Antonio, honestly, San Antonio might be his best bet. It might be his best bet. You're gonna have directly competing with Dylan Harper for best rookie, just on his own team. But if you win that battle, you know, it's a pretty direct comparison of how good you are as a rookie. So that honestly might be his best shot to make it. Or if he just goes one more pick later to the Wizards as well. Danny Wolf on the Wizards. So ideal Danny Wolf landing spots, chat, would be, let's see here again, the East is, I guess, if we're not just thinking all-star, if we're thinking for his, you guys tuned in for Danny Wolf corner, on the REMINGTOM pod. Where will Danny Wolf go in the draft? Probably not the top 10, definitely not the top 9. But do we have to watch a little? Okay, chat, we might have to watch some Cedric Coward highlights here, because Sam was talking about him for sure. So let's let's get this Soul Plane off here. Oh, Soul Plane, chat, that reminds us. I was gonna mention we need to update a little rankings that we had going on another episode a while back when we were watching Gone in 60 Seconds a couple Sundays ago. We were looking at best movie titles that started with the same word. So Gone in 60 Seconds, obviously Gone in 60 Seconds, Gone Baby Gone, Gone with the Wind, and what was the other one, chat? Just Gone Girl. Gone Girl in there as well too. So pretty strong for that one specifically. But then we found, of course, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Black Swan, and what was the fourth one? Black Hawk Down. And Black Dynamite, chat. That one really has some depth to it as well too. But wait, which one did we just say, chat? Oh, wait, I just lost it. Soul. Soul is a strong competitor now as well, because you've got Soul Plane, Soul Food, Soul Man with Samuel Jackson and Bernie Mac. And then there was a fourth one in there, chat. Oh, Disney Pixar Soul. So that's a pretty good 4. That's a pretty rewatchable 4 as well too. I mean, that original 3 of Soul Man, Soul Food, and Soul Plane. I mean, chat, are there 3 better movies, honestly? The strength of that 3 could compete with the other titles that we mentioned. Again, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Black Hawk Down, and Black Swan is a pretty strong quadruple situation. It's pretty strong. Foursome. But it's a good stack of movies. So that, better to be, more likely to be real, the Soul reel, because I think Soul Plane and Soul Food are both on Tubi, and Soul Man might be on Tubi as well too. But I mean, it definitely has been in the past. Isn't currently, chat. But yeah, that is up there as well too. I think shout out, chat. I think Black still has the title. I think Black Klansman, Black Panther, Black Swan, Black Hawk Down is still the best. But Soul is probably now number 2. We should mention. Oh, and Fast as well. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Fast and Furious, Fast and there's got to be a couple other ones in there as well. Wait, which number is Cedric Coward, chat? Is he number 0? They don't have their numbers listed here on the Tankathon. Okay, number 0 versus Bradley. Puts up 18 points against Bradley. He better, chat. He better. The three-pointer, what was his three-point percentage on the year, chat? I mean, per 36, 19, 7, and 4 is pretty good all-around stats. projects as a 40%, a 37% 3-point shooter. It says 40% from 3 in college, but maybe the lesser competition in fewer games, it will knock that down a little bit. Only 6 games played this year, chat. And 10, 11 shots a game, so not necessarily the highest volume guy again as well, too. But still pretty efficient in the minutes that he was getting. A decent variety of shots here, but does have an easy base of skills you can see right away with a good jumper and good, good traits, chat. If the effort's there, there's going to be some defensive upside as well too. I think plus on the wingspan. Let's see here, chat. Is that a plus in the attributes? Oh, chat, a major plus. Whoa. Hey, yo, Cedric Coward's packing a wingspan. 7'2" for a 6'6" guard. Hey, yo, chat. Cedric Coward. So, he might definitely be a guy for that reason that is up there in the list. A little, maybe Drew Holiday light in that way. I don't know what they have him listed at here. They do have him listed at shooting guard. So probably playing 2 to 3 positions. I guess, guarding the point guards as well too. So maybe 3 to 4 positions on defense, 2 to 3 positions on offense. You see some immediate versatility. They don't have defensive highlights here, at least right now. So we can't necessarily fully speak on that ability at this point. I mean, they'll highlight it tomorrow in the draft, chat. They'll let us know pluses, minus Cedric's Cowards defense. I guess we could go to the FanDuel as well too and see what the odds are for players at the spot, because that's, maybe even more reliable than but more of a better source, I guess, to look at than the mocks, is what is Vegas actually saying. And I know he is a plus on the playmaking here, chat. What do we got? 3.7 assists per 33 minutes, so 4 assists per 36 minutes. Again, shooting guard as an off-ball scorer kind of is not bad. And he does make the simple passes pretty well. Hasn't necessarily shown a crazy handle at this point, but we'll see, I guess, a little bit more of that. But the rebounding is definitely there as well, too. Yeah, almost 8 rebounds a game is pretty good. So here is some of the defensive highlights, chat. We see him fighting around a screen. We see the switch now on a forward player, not necessarily a mismatch, I would say. But, and then he just gets dunked on, chat. You love a guard, though, going for just this. And that's a little unfair. Under the basket, the straight-up block attempt, that's not necessarily something, again, a guard should be going for. So you love the challenge anyways. The steal on that play is fun. But you can see he does fight and compete on defense. So that's fun to see as well, too. That alone, chat, with the wingspan is, that's enticing in itself. And then you throw in the potential 3-point percentage. Is this a chance? Is this Kyrie Thomas redemption right here, Chad? Cedric Coward. Kyrie Thomas redemption. I'm just seeing flashes of Kyrie Thomas. I still believe Kyrie Thomas can be a good player. I don't really know. Maybe there was athleticism stuff that I was not necessarily evaluating properly back in the day. But the skill, Kyrie Thomas's skill set, NBA level skill set. Don't get me wrong. So Cedric, every time I see even a glimpse of Kyrie Thomas's skill set and any other guys, it is a plus in my mind. Is Kyrie Thomas the number one guy I wish had worked out, Chad? I don't know if that's too dramatic to say or not, but that's definitely one of the number one names. And it's not like I was like, oh, Kyrie Thomas is going to be the best player in the drafts. I was just like, oh, you know who's going to be good? Kyrie Thomas. Who knows who's probably a good pick? Kyrie Thomas. And it's like, oh, wait a second. What happened? Expansion chat? Kyrie Thomas, Cam Whitmore. Expansion team could be pretty fun. But switches onto a more center player there. Strong through his chest? Whoa! Chat, you love to see a guy play strong through his chest, that's for sure. I see the vision, chat. I see the vision. I'm not going to lie. You put him out there against Bradley, he looks pretty good. I guess this was the second game of the season. They're 1-0 at this point. Bradley was also 1-0. And Bradley's been a tournament team. Were they a tournament team this past year? I don't think they were a tournament team this past year. So that would... chat, now, we have not been... They started just, like, a lot more like house scenes. They're just dancing around in rollerball right now. So it's like, okay, they're not playing rollerball. We're not locked in. But they're firing guns that are like just blowing up trees. This is crazy, chat. Hey, yo, that's like a pistol. Like a revolver pistol. So I don't know what it's loaded with. Again, hey, yo, pause. This is a futuristic ordeal, I think. As well, too, if you remember correctly. I don't know if we have a year for this one, chat. We didn't get a, this is set in 2090 something. 2180. You just got to go way out in the future. Because even if you go way out and you're like, okay, technology is like decently progressed, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense. You know, you don't have to over-exaggerate too much. Okay, Cedric Coward versus Iowa, chat. 9 points. What happened in that game? We might have to go watch that one. Can we go back and find that one again? The YouTube's moving on. Without us, we can't keep up. Okay, wait, we got Cedric Coward versus Iowa and Cedric Coward versus Walter Clayton versus Alabama. We don't need to, we watched Walter Clayton in the tournament, and I'm not watching any other Walter Clayton highlights. Some guys, it's like, okay, I've seen enough to make my point. And my point is I like Walter Clayton. And you know what'll help that point? The fact that I watched him in the tournament. So, what do I need to watch the regular season for? Prove myself wrong? No. No way. Not going to do it. Cedric Coward open in the corner. Oh, Chad, a brick. Hey, yo. Also flashes of Kyrie Thomas. But if it gets to 40%, we're still looking good. The movement off the screen, though, is something that he wasn't having in the last highlight reel. I don't know what they're... So 3-0. This is 2 games after the one we just watched. There's a mystery game in here between Bradley and Iowa. Oh, chat, the rollerball people have now turned on each other with the over-dramatic pistols, I think. Or they were just getting a little too out of control, I think. I'm not sure what happened there. But, yeah, he was definitely moving around and definitely catch and shoot movement threes, but that sort of pin down run. It was a little handoff situation, you know, kind of a dribble back. There we go again, chat, off the ball. So maybe, you know, as they moved his usage around in the different games, he was just getting used to it there. The post up doesn't work up too much. They repost him, chat. Hey, yo, oh, and he scored. They liked the matchup. He reposted, he scored. That's a good possession right there. I don't mind that. I don't know if we had all those misses in here or not, but there was a couple thrown in to just make us see what happened as well. And again, he's not a high volume guy, so maybe if he goes a little cold in a game and he's not feeling it, like he's going to necessarily not have a high volume game as well too. So his tough games could be like 1 for 6 type games. You know, he's not going to necessarily go. And you know, you want your guys like, okay, just keep firing. You don't want him to lose his confidence in a way. You'd rather him be, you know, 1 for 10 than 1 for 3 sometimes. But not always, but you know, you get the point. But not to lose the confidence. But the idea that he is able to, you know, be comfortable in an offense, in a role, and not necessarily drift in and out, but know his impact and know his ability to ramp up the offensive game when he needs to. But the playmaking still staying in a plus type of way. His turnovers, he had 2.2 turnovers, so a little bit playmaking neutral in that sense is not necessarily ideal, but still positive is pretty good. And again, he's probably not going to play point guard in the league. So while you don't want him to be disastrous every time he has to create off of a dribble, he's probably not going to... It doesn't seem like he's, you know, confused or doesn't know what's going on. Like, it seems like he knows what simple read, the screener, the slip stuff. Like, he knows what he's looking for. And he's not a crazy playmaker type. But I see him as a additive movement type guy. A little... Brandon Miller is probably the highest end of the pre-draft. Again, if we're just evaluating comparisons, Brandon Miller's comparison is the highest level of comparison that Cedric Coward could get. But Brandon Miller, the actual player himself, who knows? And Brandon Miller, I think, did he have the 7-foot wingspan as well too? He might be like a 6'10", 6'11" type ordeal. But for like a 6'5", you know, he is looking pretty good. But Brandon Miller actually might be like 6'6", 6'7", so he might have that 7-foot wingspan in there for sure. But the defense stays good in this game. The rebounding is fun in this one as well too. And I don't know if I go back and check here, chat. It seemed like they were keeping close most of the time. But I guess they don't need to win the game. But again, it's not like, oh, this team is disastrous. He's having a bad game. You know, let's point the fingers at Cedric Coward. Hey, yo. And once again, getting dunked on. So, not necessarily a great shot blocker, but at least he'll go for it, chat. Hey, yo. You love the attempts. If he's not getting the blocks in college, will he all of a sudden start blocking shots into NBA? That is a question. But as long as he's willing to give you the contest and to make guys, you know, attempts more difficult, then that is part of the game as well too, from a defensive standpoint. So I like what I'm seeing, chat. It's tough him versus Ace Bailey because I do like upside, chat. Ayo. Who doesn't like the potential of, oh, could this guy be a real bucket getter in a real way? But also Ace Bailey's two-way ability as well. If he commits to that, that is a thing that is fun. So I think if he commits to that part of it is obviously the question. And maybe if you're just thinking, okay, well, let's get the competitive, obviously some of the gym stuff and the competitive guy, and you know, you say, okay, knowing your role and all the different stuff. Like, yeah, that is a valuable thing to the team as well too. But obviously. But guess what else is fun, chat? Could this guy be an all-star? That is fun as well. So, Coward, AO. Shout out to Coward, Colin. But Cedric, chat, for draft purposes, I don't know, Cedric Coward or Danny Bryant. Or Danny Bryant. What's his name, chat? AO? Danny Wolf? It's close. It's close. Bryant, let's go watch. Maybe we should watch some Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant, who's this against? Iowa State. Okay, so here's the shot attempts for our guy, Carter Bryant. Oh! Blocked on the first one, chat. Hey, yo, you hate to see it. Around the basket, the little two-footed attempt. There's the corner three. Iowa State, number 3 in the nation at this point. Arizona unranked at 13-6. Another corner three from our guy, Carter Bryant as well, too. So, good movement, good three-point shooting. Oh, chat, he's on fire. What was his percentage for the year? The points per game a little bit low. The blocks, though, not bad. It's saying from taking 4.3 fouls per 36 minutes is crazy. 35% projected three, 37% from the actual year. So this could have been a little bit of a heat check game for him for sure. 37% is not bad, chat. And again, as a heat check game, you see when he is locked in, it's definitely a smooth shooting mechanics, that's for sure. The vision here, okay, here's some passing highlights from our guy. Carter Bryant. What are we looking at? Wing, almost 6'8", 6'11" wingspan. Okay, Chad. Oh, not the 7-foot wingspan like our guy Coward. And I think just looking at it right away, Coward maybe a little bit more athletic. How many times did you say that sentence? Hey, Chad. Coward a little bit more athletic. Again, talking about Cedric. But Carter Bryant, we haven't seen him really attempt to be athletic too as well, outside of that early first layup that he had where he just got swatted. First shot of the game. So maybe him not taking the athletic stuff is the point. But here he is. Here's the defensive highlights. So he starts that defensive possession as the interior defender. Hey, yo, chat. So 6'7", is he like a small ball 5 for this team? Maybe I'm misevaluating Carter Bryant. Like small ball 5, 4-man, off-ball scorer, three-point shooter. Again, 6'7", 6'8", he's a little bit maybe more probably a 4 than an actual 5. And then if you need to play him in 5 in certain lineups, he could. But is he a double? Oh, he's only a 4 rebound type guy. So that's tough. Again, even playing sort of in a middle, you know, most of the time I'm in the middle, you know, of the lane in that zone there as well too on that possession. Defense really locking in this Iowa State game though. Not allowing Thunder level defense, chat. Hey, yo, against Iowa State. So the fact that he's playing in this type of environment, in these type of stretches, shuffling his feet, chat, staying in front, the tough defense. Oh, the player got the bucket over him. Tough to see, but
He definitely fought on that possession. There's not much more you could do. The closeout for 3. Oh, again. So Carter Bryant is one of those guys that gets scored on. That's not necessarily something that you can help sometimes, chat. Sometimes you're just a guy that... Oh, and it happens again. Sometimes you're just a guy that gets scored on. So Carter Bryant might move down our list, chat. I don't know what to say. What's Carter Bryant's comp? If the Ringer chat, the Ringer draft guide is the only thing saving Carter Bryant on our big board at this point. Let's see what happens. He's compared to Jordan Walsh. Jordan Walsh is his largest comp in the Venn diagram here. Jordan Walsh hasn't even played in the NBA. I don't even know if he counts as a comp. He hasn't even played. He's a G League player. But respectfully, he's not a G. You know, he's a guy that's going to play in the NBA. But just at this point in his career, it's been what it is. So Marvin Williams, Tari Eason, Aaron Gordon, Kamara, Marvin Williams. Check. Guess what? If you took Marvin Williams with the 13th pick in the draft or something like that, that could be a fun player. Carter Bryant as Marvin Williams. It's both terrifying and it gives me a little excitement at the same time, Chad. Whoa, that's kind of a pause. But can you guys relate to that feeling? Hey, yo. So, you know, put yourself in that situation. That's Carter Bryant right now for us, I guess. Hey, whoa. It is what it is. Aaron Gordon. So they are thinking, yeah, a little bit more that 4-man. Kamara, I think, is a better initiator than Aaron Gordon is. You know, Kamara's a 4, but Aaron Gordon's like that 4 that is your... Again, he's the 4 you have when your 5 is a playmaking 5. I don't know if you have Aaron Gordon and Evan Mobley next to each other, but again, Evan Mobley's a playmaking 5, so it would just have to be how good of a playmaking 5 is Evan Mobley, I guess. Carter Bryant versus Houston, 6 points. Oh, let's watch that, chat. Houston's defense locking it in. Oh, it's this court. This Phillips 66 court is... it looks like it's some designer clothing brand. Like, put their logo all over the court. Made some kind of pattern here. Oh, chat. And he gets blocked a couple of times as well, too. Oh, this is the Big 12 championship game. Oh, it's a nice little pull-up 3 right there. I mean, Arizona was a really, really good team this year, for sure. And they definitely were a team that was fun in the brackets. I mean, the versatility, the defense, the three-point shooting was all part of the reason that, you know, Carter Bryant, Chad, you know, big reason why Arizona was a good team this year, for sure. But he is a little under the rim and a little... but he is it does seem like the three-point shooting consistency, even though it's 37%, I do like his three-point shot. So if you're thinking, and again, the problem is Aaron Gordon is even still like really athletic. So maybe Carter Bryant is an athlete. Do we have to go the vertical rankings? Sometimes that can happen where you're like, wait a second, I never saw this guy like have crazy leaps in college, but you start going the NBA Combine, and then you just never know what can get unlocked sometimes. But, you know, or you go the other way and you're like, wait a second, Janai Broom actually can't jump? Like, I never noticed it. And that can kind of be sometimes the thing that doesn't matter. You're like, okay, well, I never noticed that Janai Broom has no vertical leap, but, you know, that might actually matter when he is in the NBA. Where's vertical? Standing vertical, max vertical, Drake Powell at 43. Fears at 32, top 5 for standing vertical leap, chat. Hey, yo, so there he is. I knew Carter Bryant was. I literally knew it. I was like, there's something about a guy that is almost playing because he is smooth, but he's not playing super athletic on offense. So maybe that's his handle. Maybe that's as he gets more comfortable initiating and all that stuff, he'll be able to use his athleticism to his advantage. And it's also, you know, max vertical leap, chat. Carter Bryant, he needs a running start. Hey, yo, Carter Bryant from a dead stop. Where's the athleticism? But, again, with the amount of times can we look up that stat? Second spectrum, chat. Where's it at? The amount of times his shot got blocked could be interesting. I don't know, you know, his actual layup making percentages, but just on the misses, there's a difference sometimes between getting missed and then just, you know, getting blocked a couple of times as well. And for being that athletic and not having that crazy of a rebounding number is a little bit interesting. Let's go Arizona team rebounds, chat, and just see what the team situation was there. Because they were a faster, I think maybe offensive-y team as well too. So maybe it was just a little bit of a function of that. But 46 and 37% is pretty good, Chad. That's pretty efficient. You like the way that seems. And with Caleb Love as well too, as like your point guard, it's a little bit of an interesting team. You know, we like Caleb Love, but he's definitely going to be playing with better, you know, lead creators just in terms of what they're, you know, just how they're lead creating, I guess, in the role, even, you know, competition-wise. Because, again, Caleb Love is like a really great scorer and really great clutch, big-time, big game. You just need him to go toe-for-toe shot making with anybody. Like, he'll definitely step up to the occasion. But I don't know if he's going to, like, get guys involved, make sure Carter Bryant is getting the right spots. Because, again, a couple of those corner threes early look good as well, too. So you think in the NBA, more corner threes, more of a four-man around the basket, if there's a way to focus him in on the rebounds and stuff. I think, like most guys, he's going to be kind of team-dependent. But I'm not necessarily disliking too much now. You know, we'll talk ourselves into most prospects, Chad. I need something to write with. Where'd the pen go? Hey, yo. I literally grabbed a couple. Oh, Chad. They're hidden on. The Wemby jersey is covering him up here. So, has anybody competed for Cooper Flagg for the #1 spot? I don't think so at this point. Except for Dylan Harper. It's close, chat. It's close, but we'll give Flagg his respect at this point. I don't even know if, you know, we even have like a definite, this guy is our #3 at this point. Yeah, like, see, even that possession right there, Chad, I guess we don't have it on screen. But this is the Texas Tech game. This is him going in for a layup, 14:22 left on the clock. Little Euro step, 39 in vertical, lays it in. Like, definitely could have probably dunked it, but chose to go for the little layup instead. Definitely could have just been like he wasn't able to dunk it, but it's also like, you know, 6'8", 39-inch vertical on that play. Feels like, you know, LeBron would have yammed that one home. Again, does LeBron have like a 49? Oh, what does he have for a vertical? Who knows? But you start measuring it out, it's like, okay, it's not too far. I mean, maybe the explosiveness, the hop. So, again, that max vertical, standing vertical, here, is it like a dramatic difference, I guess, for our guy if we compare both numbers here real quick? Because the top fives definitely aren't identical. That is for sure. So it is kind of a difference, chat. He's got a 9 and... Whoa, hey, yo, pause. A 9.5... Whoa. There's going to be... We're talking vertical leaps here, chat. So if you're just walking in, you know, it's going to be a little awkward if you overhear it. But he's got a 9.5-inch difference. Whoa. On his... Shout out to Carter Bryant. On his vertical leap. It is what it is. But you look at Javon Small. You know, Javon Small, chat, 7.5-inch difference on his vertical leap. I guess Pettiford 10, Drake Powell 6. So, yo, shout out to Drake Powell. But Carter Knox is just wild, chat. It is what it is. Cedric Coward, only a 6-inch difference. So in this scenario, you actually, you know, little difference, chat, is actually what you want. Unless, you know, you're just both of them are low, then it doesn't really matter. But if they're both consistent as well, too, maybe that is something. So it looks like, as you would expect, chat, you get an extra 4 to 5 inches on the max vert as you do on the standing vert. I guess if somebody was identical, that would be weird. It'd be like, wait a second, what just happened? So a guy like Cal Cabrenner is only, you know, pause, a 4-inch difference. So that is, I mean, understandable for a 7-footer. Again, how much is he actually be jumping anyways? He's like 7'2", so, you know, the height it makes up for the jumping ability. I guess he was gifted with the height, not the leaps. Of course, Ace Bailey, 27-inch. I don't even know which one was this, chat. 27-inch. Hey, pause. But the max standing vert. So if we sorted that real quick, is that near the bottom? Where is he at, chat? 27.5. He's about the middle, I guess. 23.5. Derek King. Oh, shout out. The lowest max standing vert. Dink Paint. Shooting guard. Campaign. 24.5-inch vert. Not necessarily skying up there as well, too. Our guy, Igor Denham, chat. You know, 1 inch for every assist that he gets on the difference here. Hey, yo. But, oh, Grant Nelson, only a 3-inch difference. So Grant Nelson has the smallest difference in the league, chat. Whoa. Whoa. What are we saying here? Shout out to Grant Nelson. But out here working with the 3-inch difference, chat, in his vertical and his max standing vert. But Will Riley, 5.5 as well. Kobe Brea. You gotta start looking for white names, chat. You know, there's gonna be a small difference in in their leaps. But Colin Murphy Boyles, 5. Not. But I was like, maybe he's kind of a, you know, he's skying around all the time. But yeah, that's interesting, chat. So Carter Bryant maybe actually does have the biggest difference for a vertical leap, chat. Texas Tech, 5 points. I mean, let's pull up the game log here for our guy, because he was at whoa, we're on the Arizona page. Not his personal player page. He was at, for the year, 6.5? 6.5 points a game. Okay, yeah, so Cedric Coward was the 20 points per 36 minutes. And he was at 19 minutes a game as well, too. So per 40, chat, I guess we go back to the tankathon here, per 36, puts it in a little more NBA perspective. Per 40, you know. There's no NBA guys anymore playing 40 minutes a game. So that's even unrealistic. But a rookie playing 40 minutes a game as well, too? Probably not. Maybe rookies are the ones that would actually play 40 minutes a game. Who knows? But per 36, 12 points a game, 1 block. He's 2 blocks and 2 steals is kind of fun. 2 turnovers as well. But 7. So he is, I guess, 8 rebounds per 36. So that's still pretty good. I guess, what was Aaron Gordon's? Did we look up Aaron Gordon and Marvin Williams' numbers, chat? Hey, yo, not in college. But Aaron Gordon in, chat, don't tap out on us now. Basketball Reference, the draft, it's just overloading. Everybody's looking up everybody's pages, trying to learn at this point. But Aaron Gordon, I feel like if you need him to, obviously, is a 10. You know, could he even get 12 rebounds in a game? Of course. But there's a physicality with him as a rebound. I guess he has only 5 rebounds a game in the NBA, chat. But, you know, you look at him in this last year's against OKC, it was definitely ramping up. 8, 16, 5, 7, 11. So it's some good games. 11 in the blowout loss. I guess, you know, a couple of dominant losses for sure. 6, and he has, you know, 6 rebounds again. I guess this year, and he was maybe a little bit more perimeter oriented this year as well too. He got up to that 40% level for 3, for sure. But for his career, he's been mostly 6. He can get up to 7, you know, even 8 rebounds a game back in Orlando. So his best, I guess this just was his best stat line that year at 17 points, 17.5 points, 8 rebounds, basically. So if we just take that and combine that with the usage of a different year, like, okay, that's the efficiency can lead to those type of numbers as a peak version of what he is as a player. Like, I don't know if Cedric Coward ever gets there, but is Cedric Coward? I don't know if Carter Bryant's ever, you know, is he a 17 and 8 type player? 17.5, 8? But could he be, I guess, this 14 and 6 type player? That could definitely, that seems pretty good, chat. The rebounding getting up there as well too. So Marvin Williams, anybody want to take Marvin Williams again with a top 10 pick in the draft, chat? So it's really just wants to auto queue up the Walter Clayton highlights as well too. I mean, again, he's one of the more fun players in the draft. I feel like can we get a Colin Murphy Boyles video up here? Adu Thoreau, chat. I don't know if he is up there in the mocks with these guys as well. Nolan Traore, chat. Wait, where was he at? He's 20, a top 20-ish type pick. So I guess we could go there just to mix it up as well too. Or can we get like Fears or Johnson or something? Oh, well, can we get Johnson's wild chat? Pause. But can we get Trey Johnson highlights? Is what we meant to say. Wait, Trey. Here we go. This is just best of Trey Johnson. So pause. This is not going to be the same sort of scouting highlight reel, us reacting to it in the same way. You know, we're not going to get the defensive and the bricks the same. Wait, chat. Why wouldn't we just say missed shots there? Why would we say bricks when we just said Johnson? Who knows? But, you know, we're not going to get the same miss shots in the footage in the same way. But this will be a good way for us to get hyped up and at least see what he is. So Trey Johnson they have at 4 right now. 4th overall, 6'4", guard. Allen Houston, whoa! Whoa! Allen Houston might be the most fun comp, honestly. Trey Johnson over Dylan Harper? Hey, yo, the athleticism, I mean, you see it right away, chat. He's got a little bit of a contorting thing going. Again, Dylan Harper, bigger athlete. There's a strength, a downhill nature. He is a navigator, though, as well, too, and can definitely, get through a double team and the little in and out dribbles we were seeing him use and all that different stuff. But Trey Johnson's a little Dillingham-y with the, well, is that even a thing, chat? Pause. But he's got that same sort of wiry guard, sort of Tyrese Maxey energy. I don't know if he's got the same sort of athleticism, but same wiriness, same chaoticness. The turnaround jumper there is nice, though. Again, 6'4", I guess he's kind of in line with Maxey. Chat, wait, where was he at for the old vertical leap here? Max standing vert, I feel like he's probably pretty decent in that. 37 on the max standing, 37 on the max, 32 on the standing. So right there with Jace Richardson on the max. To be honest, Jace Richardson right there with Trey Johnson as well too. So wait, similar athletic profiles for Jace Richardson and Trey Johnson. I guess Jace Richardson is 6'2", so that is always going to be a thing that the scouts are going to point at, unfortunately. And they do have Trey Johnson listed as 6'6" on Tankathon as well too. So, speaking of differences, Chad. Hey, yo. Trey Johnson's going to be the guy that the Spurs wish we took, Chad. Hey, yo. We've got to we've got to find that guy. The regret guy, Chad. There's got to be a guy that makes us regret. Hopefully not. Hopefully we feel good about our pick. And at this point, with the trade value we put on it, it would seem like we have. But this is a fun player, chat, that I think, like we mentioned, and there have been talks about Harper, similarly to Castle, like we were saying. How does he continue to grow in the NBA? Pause. As a point guard in the playmaking aspects of his game. But if they're both being relied on as that type of scorer, like, there is some equal shot-making abilities here. So if, the off-the-backboard lob, chat. If that's what both these guys are being called upon to do in the league, and the playmaking thing is not necessarily, what Dylan Harper is his main role, then there could be an interesting evenness there for the impact and the draft and the types of the stuff that they are producing in the league. So yeah, he was 19 a game. Again, 48% of the field. Him definitely, we're underestimating. I gotta make sure to go we were the optimistic route last time. We'll go a little pessimistic as well too. We gotta attack it from all angles, chat. We gotta make sure that in making sure that we're confident in Dylan Harper as a player. Part of that is viewing those alternatives too. Alternatives and seeing what, all of the potential routes for his career are, chat. But hey, yo, I don't know why that last drink of the Ghost just hit us so hard, chat. Ghost, settle down. Whoa. That was nuts. Pause. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, chat. But he is a guy that'll play 34 minutes a game, led the conference, 42% of the field, but 39% from three. So again, there is an equal, I guess not even equal, the perimeter game for Trey Johnson is definitely there over Dylan Harper's. I guess you would have to look shot selection. He's 7 a game. So 39% at 7 a game is pretty good. Nice pass. 2 assists, 2.5 assists per game is a little bit low, chat. We might have to do a comp for Trey Johnson. Wait, what were we looking up here? International expansion. Hey, yo. Trey Johnson. What is our question, chat? Run 1,000 simulations for Trey Johnson's NBA career. Let's see what we get, chat. We're not even asking it how good is he going to be. I feel like sometimes you even lead it the Johnson's NBA career. Whoa. No, Trey Johnson's NBA career. I feel like sometimes if you ask it, how good's this guy going to be? It's like, well, it's going to imply, oh, well, I need to look a good version for his career. No, we just need to know what's going to happen. Good or bad or the ugly or whatever, chat. Hey, yo, 1,000 times we'll play Trey Johnson's career and see what happens. 1,000, chat. We got there. Okay, it did it. Pause. 6'6", 6'10" wingspan, a 2/3 scoring player, archetype of Bradley Beal, Jordan Clarkson, Quentin Grimes, Malik Monk, Jordan Crawford Light. Quentin Grimes, I feel like that might be Quentin Grimes. Would he be the 4th overall pick in this draft, chat? The 3rd overall pick in the draft. Trey Johnson in Philly. Why not, chat? Why not? And Philly is another one of those teams as well, too. I guess we can get it more into, the actual teams themselves tomorrow. But Philly's an interesting team when it comes to the draft. When an edge comes to the draft. Hey, yo, pause. But I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. But Trey Johnson, late lottery to mid first. So they're going to run these simulations with the knowledge of Trey Johnson, like, before the season started, I guess. Not necessarily with the in-season rise. So, results of 1,000 career simulations for Trey Johnson. Franchise cornerstone, 3.6%. Secondary star, 12.8%. Often in a Beal hero scoring role. Tyler Hero? He seems a little bit more of a dynamic driver than Hero. And could he already be a more consistent... not already, but... is there a potential for him to be more consistent out shooter as well, too, but... high-level starter, 27.4%. So solid 3-level scorer, 18 to 20 points a game. Average defense is, I guess, what brings him down to sort of the high-level starter range. Rotation wing, 35% of the time. 6th, 7th man, microwave score, inconsistent efficiency. Fringe out of the league, 21%. Mostly due to efficiency issues, lack of defensive growth, or injuries. So there's maybe like a Monty Bates type career tree. I don't know what that would be like, but 21% is a little bit high there. So career longevity, average across the Sims, chat. So 1,000 careers, 1,000 career Sims for Trey Johnson. He's an average of a 8.9. Whoa, a 9-season career. Peak years 24 to 28. Average retirement 31. Whoa, chat. All-star 7.1% of the time he's an all-star. 1% of the time he is a all-NBA player. 20% of the time he puts up 20 points a game. Not great rookie of the year odds. NBA title as a contributor 92 times, so 9% chance he's going to be on an NBA title. 3% chance he wins 6th man of the year. 18 50-point games in 1,000. Well, that's 1,000 career simulations though, so that's a little bit low. But so that's 1,000 careers, 82 games in every season of every career. So that's a lot of games there played. 15,000 points, 86 times he put up 15,000 points. So 8.6% of the times. So notable career pass archetypes. It's going Bradley Beal, chat. It's going Jordan Clarkson, Gary Trent Jr. I think even a little bit more athletic, better handle than Gary Trent Jr. Jordan Clarkson is obviously interesting as well, but better 3-point shooter than Jordan Clarkson. I think Jordan Clarkson's had some 40% years, but he's another one as well too. Is it like the balance of the heat check games and the other games? So I guess Trey Johnson could be similar to that as well. Yeah, Clarkson is 32% from 3 in college, 44% from the field as well. And Trey Johnson was the number 5 overall recruit in the class according to the RSCI, so there is that pedigree as well too in the mix. Cam Thomas, he does look a little like Cam Thomas playing out there, Chad. I'm not gonna lie, he does look a little Cam Thomas-y. They both have the same kind of athleticism-y, stop and go, weaving type game. Skinny Cam, he's a little bit of skinny Cam Thomas. Never becomes a full-time starter due to defensive limitations. Josh Green plus Malik Monk blend. athletic wing who develops into a strong bench scorer, starter spot, good 3-and-D outcomes with the the Josh Green defense mixed into there as well too. Ball handling, defense, team context, of course. Spurs, Magic, or Pacers boost his odds the most. So the Magic would actually be a good team for him. I don't know if I agree with that, chat. I mean, I think the Magic would be a good team for anybody, of course, right now, but you also think they have Anthony Black there as well, too, kind of competing, so maybe that's your bench backcourt is both those guys. But you just, do they have enough minutes to go around in the backcourt for them to bring in a guy like Trey Johnson? But the Pacers would be interesting, obviously, now with Halliburton out for the year, and he could just, Trey Johnson and Mathurin taking over the team, and I think the Pacers traded their pick as well, too. They all traded it to the Pelicans. I don't even know what that move was, chat. I forget. They got some future thing for it? Probably just some cap move. Who knows? But giving up the potential to draft Jace Richardson at 23 to do whatever. And the Magic's updated logo on here is kind of throwing me off as well too. I'm kind of like, just like, okay, whatever, this new sort of, who is this team? And I guess the fact that Brooklyn's just has all the picks in the 20s is kind of disorienting as well. But yeah, so Indiana actually would not be able to acquire him, unfortunately. But if Trey Johnson was going 4th to Charlotte, playing next to LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, and Saloon, that could be interesting. I know him and LaMelo is interesting 1-2, but if they figured it out, there's obviously a lot of scoring, a lot of shooting, not a lot of defense, but it could be really high powered. Him and Utah could be fun. And with the way that they gambled, or not gambled, but they took Keontae George, and the way that they've definitely seemed to be investing in him as a guy that can be a lead guard. How do you want to phrase it, chat? But definitely a guy that they see value in as a creator on that team for sure. Could there be some overlap? But I think they could both play together as well too, especially if you're thinking, okay, we've been tanking, we've been bad. Are we trying to, be good next year? I think they do want to be good a little bit. But that could be an interesting high school guy, top 5 pick for him there as well too. And then him in Washington is mocked here again with the Jordan Poole trade today. I don't know what the hoops hype is saying, that this is starting to kind of take shape. Anyways, maybe this top 6 is kind of set this way, chat. I guess I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if this is the order. Again, these are probably the 6 guys as well too at this point, unless Malik jumps up in there for some reason, or not for some reason, but like if he jumps up there, then that could be the wild card 7th. But that's definitely probably your top 6. So Trey Johnson versus Ace Bailey is difficult because there's definitely a world where Trey Johnson gets more of a look right away. Again, with what we've seen with like how many shots has Keontae George gotten? If Trey Johnson goes to the Wizards and it's him and Bub Carrington, like, he's going to be getting his looks. But if it goes poorly, then that type of player, the Wizards are in a weird spot. It was funny listening to Joe House on Bill Simmons' pod talk about him wanting to take the center from Duke in that 6th spot. And they have been trying to, of course, as they've rebuilt the team, you're always trying to, I think, take a bit of a swing with your picks as well, too. And a guy like Ace Bailey or a guy like Trey Johnson is that swing. But for them to actually sit back, and I guess we're talking the teams now at this point. But for them to actually be like, okay, let's invest in the rest of the roster and be like, okay, maybe we're not going to get the star in this draft, so let's continue to build good pieces around what we have and build a solid, fun core group of guys is a fun approach as well too. But maybe Trey Johnson's 3-point shooting, maybe you think that can be additive to the entire roster. But he does feel a little like, Simons-y for sure. But again, Simons, I feel like there's an off-ball thing with Simons that maybe you're not fully seeing with Johnson. It's just Johnson's usage as well too, and his scoring ability. It's just going to be higher up there as well. But him versus Ace, again, both have that score, 20-point score upside, but I do think that Ace maybe has a little bit more baseline if he's given some Jabari Smith-like skills. So Jabari Smith, to his credit, has felt like he's like, okay, if I have to lock in some certain ways, I'm definitely ready to do that. But, who knows if Ace Bailey is able to do that in the same type of way. But his skill set is definitely there for that type of contributing as well, too. I feel like we got to watch a little bit of a Kasparis chat. Let's watch some Kasparis here real fast. We got to give a guy our chance. You start going, big creator guy that can't really shoot threes, and that is a little bit of a concern. That's for sure. But his playmaking is, we've heard, very, very good. What's his assist number? I guess wait, I'm not looking at the right name. What's his number here? Let me scroll up so we can all take a look. 5.3 assists per 36. So 16, 6, and 5. Like, he is definitely, I guess just looking at the numbers. See a little Josh Giddey chat? 6'6", big white guy that can't make three-pointers is maybe not the most crazy comp. So him versus Maryland, 21-7-7. Him versus Indiana, 21-3-5. So yeah, I guess there's just a consistency with him. 23-4, 24-5. Hey, yo, Chad. So yeah, he was cooking this year for sure. Again, what was his points? 17 points per 36. So there must have been some lower games, or he just really stepped it up in the Big Ten play as well. Because I feel like that's definitely what happened a little bit with the Illinois team in general. Wait a second. He's still in college, not in the NBA yet. And we'll have to actually figure out how to say this guy's last name so we don't get ourselves in trouble here, chat. But just look at, so yeah, 15 points a game for the entire season. 15, 6, and 5. And the efficiency, you see 31.8% from 3. So if we look at the actual points here, some of the early season, maybe it was more early to late, or kind of bookend it with some, not the best scoring performances. So what was his best stretch here? Here was all these 20-point games, I guess. Some non-conference games into the beginning of conference play. I guess there was a 3-point game here, then a 20, 11, and 18. Then I guess he starts kind of the little bit more inconsistency of it. So they go 2 losses here in this stretch. What is this? 10 games? Yeah, 8-2. 50% from the field, 46% from 3 on 6 attempts a game. Hey, yo, Chad, he's firing away there. And 20 points. So he's 25-4. No, 25-5. 20 points, 5 and 5. And 46% from 3, 50% from the field. So I guess if that's the best version of Kasparis, chat, what do we got on Kasparis's comp for the old ringer, chat? Shout out Spencer Dinwiddie. Hey, yo, cross-racial, is that allowed? Dinwiddie going to be that efficient? Bogdanovich, DeLon Wright, and Pods. I don't know if any of those guys would have that type of stat line. Maybe would Pods have that type of stat line for a stretch? Again, maybe he would, but Pods is 6'3". Like, Pods with some of the defense stuff as well, too. There's definite questions that you would have at some point, even though he is a competitor. So maybe, Kasparis, I don't know if there's effort issues and all that stuff. Hey, performance issues from our guy Kasparis, where you would question those type of things. Oh, he gets swatted on the drive there, chat. So I don't know if we have to expose Kasparis for his vertical leap as well, too. Not able to get the little floater layup there to go. So that goes to, okay, I guess this will be a good to see where his points actually were coming from. Oh, chat. I was going to say, if he gets that three-pointer to rattle around, then you're like, maybe it really was just sort of a heat check type run for him in the middle of the season. Yeah, a couple of looks, not able to get him to go, chat. Where's this Maryland game? Oh, so this would have been right after he has this consistent run. He has 3 points versus Michigan State, only a 2-point loss, and then goes 5 for 14 in this game, 0 for 4 from 3. So attacking the basket there, clobbered from behind. I mean, Maryland definitely a physical defensive team a little bit. Had some those interior players, I think. So, definitely not the easiest matchup for him. But after, I guess, if we go, like, what that run for the season was. Sorry, we'll throw the 3-point game in there. No disrespect. The tournament games played okay. I guess not great against Iowa in the tournament game, but they won that game. Scored 106. even though he was only 1 for 6 on the field. So next 14 games after that 10-game stretch, he went 40% from the field, 23% from 3, 15, also 5 and 5. So again, the rebounding and the assisting thing is going to be consistency there. But the fact that the scoring went so far, I guess, in the both efficiency ways is a little bit like, okay, is that, what that was? Heat check and then just balanced it back out as teams figured him out. And, as the season drag along. Because, yeah, chat, there's not really a, okay, what type of look is he going to get to? He's almost a little, I'm seeing a little of that TJ McConnell offense. Just kind of put your head down, dribble to the basket, twirl and whirl, and you're going to be spinning around in the lane a little bit. You're going to be bouncing off a couple of dudes. So again, he is 6'5", 6'8", a little bit more size on him, pause. And there he's trying to take a little off the dribble step back three. Not able to get it to go. His three-pointer, again, doesn't look broken as well, too. So I don't know if that's a fixable thing as well. But 4 games conference tournament and NCAA tournament, 35%, 32% from the field, 22% from 3, 13, 6, and 4. So his reboundings went up. Hey, he was missing his shots. He's probably missing an extra layup in there and then getting that offensive rebound. And I don't know if that was making his stats look a little bit better. So he does have a tendency to drive into the lane and just get stuck, it looks like. Which, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of a problem in the NBA. I think if you have I can navigate around, make that pass, or, again, like Shea has that falling, spinning in the lane shot, where you look like you've got the guy kind of stuck, and then you're like, oh, I'm posting up now, I'm turning, I'm fading, I'm hitting that little mid-range shot, where even if it's a bailout, it could still be a good look in a last resort scenario. And he's definitely seems to be the move he wants to get to or ends up getting to, and it just seems to be him kind of getting stuck in the lane sometimes. So the passing is pretty good, chat. Again, the size and the rebounding is fun. Maybe running a second unit in there. But I'm thinking TJ McConnell for our guy, Kasparis. We need to find that other scouting thing as well, too. Wait, did it have comp? Where did it get the comps for Beal? Cite your sources, Chat GPT. Where are you getting these comparisons? Because there was that NBA Scout dot. Oh, wait a second. It might have been in the. Was it Dylan Harper player comparisons? Who else do we player comparison, Chat? Maybe it was just Dylan Harper. Oh, did we also compare Ace Bailey on this page? Let's see. Where was the NBA Scout dot whatever source that we were looking at? Because there's a lot of different. Oh, here we go. Watch the boards. LibertyBallers.com. TimesOfIndia.com. I don't think it was that one either, chat. SI. Okay, we're getting closer. CBS Sports. Scarlet Knights. No, it's just the Rutger page. Maybe it wasn't on here, chat. I don't know. But there's a lot of, almost, I guess, every combination of URLs are out there for NBA draft and mock draft sites. It's just what it is. Oh, wait. We may be getting closer. Sourcers. News Sport Pulse. I think it was this one, chat. News-sport-pulse.com. Or news-sportspulse.com. Just one dash in there, I guess, between news and sports. If we go basketball headlines, it gives us only soccer options. So that's not a great start. Oh, Porzingis on the move, chat. It's a good thing we hit the News Sports Pulse live, because we're getting live news. Let's go to the Hoops Hype here and see what we got. Hey, Celtics are not done, chat. Kyrie signs 3-year extension in Dallas as well, too. So what has been going on in the NBA in the last couple hours, chat, while we have been rambling? Let's see what he gets here. Declining his $43 million, 3 years, 119, gets a couple extra years there of security. Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis are generating strong trade interest, but the Kings would be a reluctant player. I was going to say that. I don't know. Are the Kings going to want to trade those guys? But yeah, apparently not. So wait. Oh, is this a mock? Is this a mock? Should I have clicked on it? Or is Hoops Hype just slacking? What's going on here, chat? How would this be on the Sports News Pulse and not on the Hoop Hype? 3-team deal. Brooklyn will receive Terrence Mann in the 22nd pick from the Hawks, which will also receive a second rounder. And it doesn't say what they're getting for Porzingis in here, I guess, at this point. So incomplete article, chat. We'll see. We're trying to track down this news. Hey, yo, what's going on here? Live as we speak. Okay, let's find the Celtics team. Or the Hawks, chat. Hey, yo, at least they're starting with an A, so easy to find. Easy enough. Yeah, here we go. Okay, wait, when was this? Oh, literally 2 hours ago. This was like right as we started, chat. And then we just missed it. Wait a second. So we've got Porzingis to the Hawks. The Celtics receive a 2031 Cleveland second with Niang. Whoa. Atlanta also receives the 26 second least favorable second round pick. So is that literally just the trade? Boston is, and I think Atlanta did have quite a bit of cap as well too, so it makes sense. But they're taking Niang in a second for they're literally just saying like we're taking discount Porzingis in George Niang, chat. Hey yo, a great, literally, like, again, if you're cutting costs, like, that's actually perfect because, you know, hey yo, pause, you get, or, you know, shout out to Niang, but, you know, you get what you pay for on that situation, and it just is what it is, chat. You know, he can be a good player, give you some good minutes, but I don't know about that. So let's see here, chat. Because, again, the Simons one, like, there is a world where he is a better player than Drew Holiday next year. Is Niang going to be a better player than Porzingis? It would be health, I guess, at this point. So, yeah, sources say, chat, I guess, is this deal still kind of, like, floating around? People still having an issue with Shams' trustability? And, oh, Bontep's reporting this one. Shout out, chat. At least in the article. So, yeah, Brooklyn, again, involved as well, too. So I guess Terrence Mann is the name that was not going to the Celtics, but is also involved in the trade. Yeah, Terrence Mann and 22 going to the Nets. So the Hawks are trading Terrence Mann, Niang, 22, and a second for Porzingis. The 22 pick for Porzingis. So that's why AO chat, Brooklyn had more picks in there. I know Brooklyn had already had multiple picks, so I was just like, well, I guess they had more than I thought. But yeah, they had that extra pick, even live updated, chat. Let's see here. 20, where was that pick that they just got? Maybe it wasn't the actual Hawks pick. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, because the Spurs have the actual Hawks pick. So they got either the Knicks or the Rockets pick in there, or the Lakers pick, I guess. Which one did it say? Again, as well, too, is that on this one. Number 22 was the pick traded. So, yeah, it was the Lakers pick. Noah Esengu, chat. I believe French prospect as well, too. So, you know, fun upside guy there for Brooklyn, potentially. I don't know why Boston wasn't able to get the first-round pick, but I guess that shows you what people were thinking of Porzingis' contract at this point. So, Terrence Mann and Niang, as kind of, I guess we were looking at some possibilities to get Terrence Mann himself on the Celtics. I guess that doesn't happen. Again, Niang, if he's healthy, he can at least play that spot that Porzingis gotcha. You're cutting cost on a season that you don't think you're going to win the title. You're not getting any future assets back, but maybe they just are so high on the Simons part of the trade that they felt that they could sacrifice a little bit in the Porzingis deal as well, too. And once again, Porzingis, I guess, not going to San Antonio. So I guess that one's fine, Chad. But if we could have gotten him for, well, we would have had to have taken back a lot of the salary. I don't know if we could have taken a couple. But if, you know, they're giving away picks, I guess the Hawks gave up a pick to get Porzingis. So that's an interesting one, Chad. Porzingis and Trey, you're going in on the offense for sure. And Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels. He definitely can play on that team. So that is the underrated part about Porzingis, is he is one of the guys that really is, and you know, that was a credit to the Celtics, but because of his ability to play offense, defense at that front court position, you know, it's kind of worked out with him being a 4 in the modern NBA. It was funny because, and he was a good 5 in New York and all that stuff as well too, but there was a question, it's like, oh, is Porzingis, you know, he should be a 5 in the NBA, but he kind of doesn't want to be, a little Anthony Davis kind of situation going on. And now it's like, okay, he's kind of the perfect 4, but then when you need him to play 5, like those lineups definitely make sense with the way the modern NBA works. But yeah, with him as a 4 next to whatever center, if it's a Kongwu or whatever, and then Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and Trae Young continue to bring in the defense and build a rotation around those guys as well too. He's a fun piece for him. Again, if he stays healthy. But okay, the books are cleared, chat. They got a young talent to help him go forward, and a couple of second-round picks as well too. So the Celtics are looking reset. It's fun times. The Anthony Simons Boston jerseys are gonna go crazy, chat. He's gonna be a star. And Anthony Simons is gonna be a star. He's gonna be one of the biggest name risers, I think, in the NBA season next year, because him in a star market, like the guys that of course get drafted into those teams are going to get a boost in popularity. Like a guy like Jared McCain, I guess his TikTok and stuff was already making him a star. But he's also in a major market playing for a big team like the Sixers. If you get all of a sudden on a team like that and you're just playing in a front-facing franchise of the NBA, I mean, it's gonna, Boston, chat, like, we're talking about them and the Lakers is like the 2 most, and, the Knicks would be like maybe the 3rd, but, those are like the 2 most, like Simons is gonna benefit from that. More people are gonna know about him if they're watching the NBA games. Apparently nobody's watching the NBA games anymore, but the ones that do will, even if they don't know about Simons, I guess, at this point. So, chat, we know that I kind of like the safety of our guy, Malu. I think it's Maluach, chat. Come on, Maluach. Come on, man. I can't say the name right. Hey, yo. But I think it's Maluach. I don't want to just say he's 3rd on the big board, because it's like, is Maluach going to be the 3rd best player in the draft, in 5 years? And I really do try to get that part of it right, chat, because that's, as much as we want to say, like, the safety of it, that is ultimately the only thing that matters. And that's, kind of a vague way to look at it. Like, it's still another way of phrasing finding the best talent in the draft. But for me, it's like, okay, in 5 years, in 10 years, when we just simply go back and go, are we redrafting these guys? Like, are we taking that guy or that guy? And I know, that's kind of the Knipple factor, chat. Hey, yo, the nipple factor. We're gonna call this the nipple conundrum, chat. The nip slip up. And we might have to call this the nip slip up. I feel like this is where teams slip up, chat. And again, maybe Knipple's not the example, because maybe in this draft, and just him as a player, it all works out. But this type of guy scares me. We're like, okay, we know what we're getting. We're getting a good shooter, a good 3-point shooter, a good playmaker, a guy who can generate some second unit offense if we need him to. And there's just a general baseline, but what's the upside? What's the defense? What is he going to be, again, as a player 5-10 years compared to the upside of some of these other guys? Like, there's a very good chance that Knipple is the 3rd overall pick in the draft, and we're redrafting this in 5 to 10 years, and he's like the 8th overall pick. And he gets like, oh, that's still like a really good player. And I guess if he was 8, that'd still be pretty good. I'm starting to buy in on Knipple more, especially, again, shout out to this class, but I think his spot in this class definitely makes sense. Again, if you just told me that he was gonna be Luke Kennard, I guess let's see what his comps are gonna be, chat. Do we have to? We'll run 1,000 simulations for Knipple's career and see how many times he nip slips for his NBA tenure. But we've got Gordon Hayward. Okay, Wally Zerbiak. I think Wally Zerbiak. We did look at that. Okay, Wally Zerbiak's encouraging. Luke Kennard apparently does not get us that excited, but Wally Zerbiak does. Wally Zerbiak is a name. If we took Wally Zerbiak in the top 5, would we be happy with that? I think maybe we would. So let's go. Okay, we got Trey Johnson's career, chat. We want what do we say? Con Knipple, run run 1,000. Con Knipple. I think we got the name right. Con Knipple. We didn't spell the first name right, chat. That's a problem. On Knipple? Con man Knipple, chat. Whoa, what did we just spell? Con man Knipple. Here we go. Okay, well, we'll get the name right. Okay, chat, we're playing shuffle with the letters there. Run 1,000 Knipple career simulations. We're just never going to spell right tonight. It is what it is. Career simulations. For our man, the con man. Knipple. Okay. We got a couple of different options. I guess we can pick a career path. This is not what we wanted. We literally wanted ChatGPT to give us an answer. And now we have to pick one, chat. It does not work out the way we wanted. Okay, so this one much better for con man. And this one not. Let's see what we got. Okay, in the first one, Luke Kennard, Kevin Herter, Joe Ingles, Gordon Hayward. In the second one, Joe Harris, Kevin Herter, Corey Kispert. Oh, Corey Kispert's kind of fun. But Herter, Gordon, Hayward, Kennard is actually kind of a blend for some reason that I can see the skill sets of those players overlapping in a weird way. But 12% chance he's an all-star, 8+ seasons as a starter, 34%, 6-man, 30%, wins most improved at some point in his career, 4%, 15 points a game in any season, 35% chance. 10+ seasons played, 42% chance, pretty good chance of that. And 168 total titles in 1,000 simulations. So about a 1.6% chance he wins the title as well, too. We might have to sim for Cooper Flagg and just see how many they're giving Cooper Flagg, because not a lot of titles to go around, chat. It is not calculating the parity in the modern NBA. Oh, a Joker art, chat. Late bloomer becomes top 3 contender on a team by years 6 to 8. Ooh, Knipple. Oh, so this one's got a best case scenario, top 1%. Few simulations have him morph into Gordon Hayward light, secondary ball handler, efficient 18 to 20 points a game, makes 1 to 3 all-stars, especially landing him in a Spurs-like system or with elite creators. Bust risk. Whoa, pause. Injuries, defensive stagnation, or system mismatch trap him in the too slow wings, too small for forwards limbo. G League stints or overseas by year 5. Whoa! Chat. It says Italy by year 5 for Knipple. Hey, yo. Are we taking this one or the other one? I don't know which one is the right answer here. But, again, kind of similar both ways. This one has all-star 5%, high-end starter 20%, role player 41%, bench specialist 19.8%, short NBA career 13%. So both of them have 13% as out of the league. So I want to give him the best chance to just be in the league as well too. If they're okay, this one's a 25% chance he's gonna be out of the league, but both of those are similar. So obviously we want to be fair. So Conman's obviously gonna be a star, but Maluwatch, chat. Do we have to watch a little Maluwatch? What Maluwatch's comps here is just gonna be Clint Capella and whichever other two-way center you've had flying around there as well. Wait, Sorber? Do they have Sorber over our guy Maluwatch? They do, chat. Whoa, the Ringer, they like Sorber. I do like what I've read about Sorber as well, so I could get, as a non-informed person, I could get behind the idea of having Sorber in a top 12 situation, I guess. But JaVale McGee in Mind's Eye, Khalil Ware, Christian Colloquo. Oh, chat, Molich. They're not high on Molich at all. JaVale McGee, but JaVale McGee's been on a couple of title teams. What team would JaVale McGee have? Would JaVale McGee have not have helped the Pacers? Would he have not have helped the Thunder? They definitely would have found a role for JaVale McGee in this last series, chat. So wait, what do they have for Sorber? Let me throw on some Sorber highlights as well, too, because he could be a fun... I think he's a sneaky 14 for the Spurs. Again, I mean, Durant and Giannis are not necessarily just strictly center type players, but with the guys that we've been targeting to bring in next to Wembanyama, it's been other front court, other big men. And again, that's part of the Dylan Harper, Steph Castle combo as well, too, for the backcourt. But we're looking for center and bigger forward pairings next to him as well. So, foot injury for Sorber is not great. But Kevon Looney, Wendell Carter, Trace Jackson Davis, Al Horford. Wendell Carter's fine, chat, honestly. Wendell Carter's the 14th pick in the draft. That's great. With some Al Horford upside mixed into there as well. Chat, we're doing it. Pause. Sorber highlights. The problem is you get predetermined. Again, it's okay, what comps do I like? Because again, even it's okay, I still like the idea of Wendell Carter as a player. So even if Wendell Carter himself doesn't necessarily produce the efficiency and all the stuff that you need game to game. It's like, okay, well, Sorber isn't Wendell Carter. So if we're talking Wendell Carter's skill set versus, his actual, the mind, whatever he is as a player, like that is, versus whatever Sorber is as a player, like that's a fun potential option to bring in here. So wait, can we just pull up the search bar and see what we got here yet? Thomas Sorber. In a Georgetown big, can we get another Georgetown big? I feel like the idea that now that's undervalued as well too. A perfect time for a guy to bring that back. We were talking Roy Hibbert earlier, chat. Okay, here's a 25-15 game that he had against Providence. So let's watch this and just completely brainwash ourselves into thinking that this is a top 5 player in the draft. Okay, I guess Rollerball is over, so I have no idea how it ended, chat. Ayo. But the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzini Across the Eighth Dimension? What is this movie? A rock star brain surgeon comic book samurai must stop evil creatures from the 8th dimension who want to conquer our dimension. So Peter Weller, John Lithgow, Ellen Barkin. Okay, I mean 7 days, chat. It's got a title. I mean, I guess I'll watch it. With that title, Adventures of Buckaroo Banzini Across the 8th Dimension. I mean, that alone it just deserves a watch for whoever cooked that up. But I did promise myself that once Rollerball was over, I was going to queue up Brewster's Millions. So I guess we're watching Brewster's Millions next, chat. We're not going to watch the full thing, but I'm going to throw it on for myself. Anyways, just because who doesn't want to see Richard Pryor try to spend $30 million in 3 days, chat? I think it sounds like a good idea to me. But, okay, back to the Thomas Sorber highlights here. Real quick. 6'10" without shoes, I guess. 7'6" on the old wingspan for our guy Sorber. We got the little mid-range jumper right away, so you love to see that. I mean, I already predetermined that Sorber is going to be a fine player. So 40th in his class in 2024. Yep, chat, one and done. 52% on the year for the field. 53%. So only 16% from 3. I guess we saw one of his couple of 3-point makes there on the entire year. But just looking at the range, the touch, and again, to go back to spacing, as long as there is even, if you have the shooting around him, some mid-range stuff in there as well too, just the threat to be able, like, okay, I can bring the defense out a little bit. That's fun. The jab step, a little jab step back there, a little stiff. And, again, as a center, if he gets into those triple threat situations and into jab step, post blow stuff, like, can he be able to get a guy and use his physicality, post him up as well too? Here we go. Oh, chat, the under the rim sort of attempt. The reverse layup gets blocked by the defender. So that's a good block right there. Tough layup finish, swooping across the basket. So that swooping across the lane is definitely a shot that you can go to, but I definitely want at least one other shot in the repertoire rookie year before that on the post-ups. But the little spin is not bad either. And he gets to that right shoulder. He's gotten there a couple times already against Providence. But the movement looks good, chat, and the outside looks good. So again, I know you want him to be actually putting the pieces together, be a good player. But at the end of the day, those were the couple things that I was concerned about. It's like, okay, can we check some foot speed stuff here? What is the full-on offensive game? But, and not watching full games here, I don't know every way he's moving, if he totally... Do we get like a little IQ note here for our guy Sorber, chat? What's it say? Disciplined! Big letters, first word, chat. Disciplined. You love to see it. Season-ending foot injury in February, like we said earlier, derailed what would have been an outstanding run. One of the best freshman campaigns ever for a Georgetown big man. Earned lofty praise. So you got Patrick Ewing, Greg Monroe, Othello Harrington. A lot of course, the NBA vets in there as well too. But Sorber's defense is very much in the eye of the beholder. Slightly undersized NBA center without outlier athleticism. May have a clear cap, but his real lateral mobility for a player's size, allowing him to credibly defend in space on the perimeter and recover for blocks into the lane. Yeah, Chet, he does move pretty well. He pries the ball loose using his strong hands and quick reaction time. So it doesn't necessarily say shooting will be a big determining factor in his high-end outcomes. I mean, I think it will be a factor for sure because of his lack of size. But you think, could he be a weird 4 next to Wemby? Again, is there a two-man thing that they could have? If you want to go Malawatch and just maybe you think Malawatch is going to be so much around the basket that now Wemby's, even that's the anti-space, is Malawatch is taking up so little space that everybody again has just, space to operate. But if Wemby and Sorber are kind of mixing into into each other's different areas where they want to be scoring from on the court, that could definitely be a issue as well too. But that is fun. So maybe him and Sar could be a little overlapping. So wait, what did they say? Again, Kevon Looney, Wendell Carter? I guess, chat. If you're just like, okay, well, we're not necessarily running the offense through him the way that Georgetown would have been, and he can score, he can pick and roll, because I guess that is the thing that we're not necessarily seeing him do here, really, is like Georgetown, of course, there's probably going to be some pick and roll stuff you would imagine, but he's not necessarily the lead guard that is setting everything up, or even, quote unquote, the better player than him, the better offensive player than him as well too. So in this game that we were watching, he was 2 for 2 from 3. This was like the only game in which he was making threes at a good rate. But you think about him versus like a guy like Kasparis, chat. I mean, maybe there'd be more of a need for a guard or whatever, but I don't know. I can see Sorber's skills definitely translating a little bit as well too. Trey Johnson's like put him in his own category. See what the room says about Trey Johnson. We need a majority vote before we can actually make a decision on his draft status, because I've already made it. Trey Johnson will be probably the highlights. We're just sitting and going to sleep tonight, being like, okay, is Trey Johnson going to be an all-star? What is going to happen? What are the best games, the worst games? What went wrong with Bradley Beal's career, chat? All those different if Bradley Beal was locked in, like, hey, yo, chat, like, would we still like him as a player? What would happen? Derek King. I feel like Derek King, again, just another polarizing one. Again, too. The top 10 is like, okay, everybody, we'll just divvy up the polarizing players in this year's draft. And then we can get to all the 3-and-D guys and the solid, centers and and all that different stuff. Asa Newell, power forward out of Georgia, 6'10", Colin Murphy-Boyles as well, too. But again, chat, if you want to get in the Rem and Sam watch list, there's going to have to be a three-point shooting thing there as well, too. Colin Murphy-Boyles, 26% from 3 is brutal. That's like watch him at Summer League, and then we'll wait for Summer League to see if he has improved that at all. What do they have for Boyles for the comps? Where is Boyle even at here, Chad? Is he top 10? Maybe the defense is locked in for Boyle. 6'6", again with the 7-foot wingspan as well. We'll inevitably draw Draymond comparisons. I didn't want to say it, chat, but you're going to have a little undersized forward type guy, a little stockier. I get it. The three-point shooting is not there as well. Anthony Mason, Meta World Peace, or Draymond Green? So it's like, okay, we can only find amazing players like him that have stayed on the court, and that can be the problem, chat, is you're like, do you have to be so skilled when you're working with a certain profile that's like, okay, you really have to know what you really have to, know what you're working with, chat. Hey, yo, Colin Murphy-Boyles, does he know what he's working with? Like some of these NBA guys as well. Like him and Kasparis may be kind of in a similar spot, though. Him as a defensive front court guy could definitely, maybe if there's a little like Tari Eason there as well. I don't know, chat. What was Tari Eason's three-point percentage in Houston so far? I think he's been okay, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's, pushing 40 as well too. 34, 36, 34. So I guess this would be sort of the upside for Colin Murphy-Boyles. It's a fun player as well. Maybe there's a little more playmaking with him in there. What does it say specifically about his playmaking? Unfortunately, we'll watch more Murphy-Boyles will be, we'll watch him tomorrow maybe before the draft. See what happens. It isn't hard to imagine Murphy-Boyles as a Swift Army knife and a pick and roll on both sides. On offense, his handful in the post. Whoa. Where his power and footwork really shined. Of course, there aren't much teams clamoring about 6'7" post hub these days. It's a little like, I don't know, Bonzi Wells chat, but as reductive it sounds, could very well come to his trajectory could very well rely on his 3-point shooting. Draymond was once positional concerns, but again, the defense and the playmaking is so high level for Draymond that he literally doesn't need the 3-point shooting, but when he has it, it is awesome. Teams have been looking for their own personal Draymond for decades. So where would Draymond, maybe Atlanta would be a team again, and they're looking for all their Warriors pieces. I don't know, Jalen Johnson is their Draymond, but Jalen Johnson's more like their Iguodala, more like the Durant. Whoa. But just thinking, you get it, the guy at the peak of his powers versus Iguodala was more the veteran forward you bring in for that kind of supporting role as well. Jalen Johnson you're building around as your star player. But outside of the threes, of course, getting to the basket, the physicality, 58% on the rest of the baskets. Are we still on Murphy Boyles? Yeah, Murphy Boyles. So 20 points a game, 9 rebounds is good stuff as well, too. And the overall efficiency being there, despite the lack of threes, is fun. So that would be an interesting, him and Carter Bryant chat. That could be interesting. Him and Derek Queen could be interesting. What do they have? Oh, we're just looking. Of course, we're looking at everybody's comps chat. Like I said, we draft based off comps. Do you want to Turkoglu or Anthony Mason, chat? That's the question. You want Turkoglu or JaVale McGee? That's the question. Turkoglu or who was Sorber's comps chat? Or Wendell Carter? I mean, Turkoglu definitely had the better career, but the types of players, I guess, is then the question at that point. But wait, we said Murphy Boyle. Who were we just looking at, chat? The guy in front of him. Carter Bryant, Murphy Boyle. Did we look at comps for both those guys? Yeah, Anthony Mason, Carter Bryant. They had, Fears chat, down to 20. Yikes. Carter Bryant might be a little bit higher up here at 10. Wait, what did they have for him? Oh, that's right, Jordan Walsh. Yikes. So it might be the tiebreak right there, chat. Would you rather have Anthony Mason or Jordan Walsh? Well, we haven't seen Jordan Walsh's career yet at this point, so we got to give him a chance, chat. We got to give him a chance. But Sorber does look fun. And we can't forget about our guy Cedric Coward as well, too. So Cedric Coward goes 3. Hey, Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson. So the Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson tier, that might have to be its own tier of the what if upside guys. And maybe you feel, however you feel about the baseline of both those guys as well, too. And does Fears go into that category? Because they got him 7th here on Tankathon and 20th on the Ringer. So there's a little bit of a difference with the opinion of some of his stats. Knipple is like the safety guy. Knipple and Molich both, maybe. Kasparus goes into the what if tier, maybe a little bit as well too. Then there's the Harper Flagg tier, like we were saying. But if it was Murphy Boyles to Chicago, they've always kind of needed more 3-point shooting. So I don't know, you bring in Murphy Boyles for that. Especially you got like Cedric Coward right there, like we're saying. Senior Murphy Boyles. I guess Carter Bryant does feel like a bull. They did, of course, draft Dalen Terry a couple years ago. So they have experience taking those Arizona guys for sure. Was Matas going to go to Arizona? Or maybe no. I don't know. I feel like Matas feels like he could have gone to Arizona for some reason. But, of course, he ended up going to the G League. But even if he wasn't in the rumors, I'm just saying, like, his vibe, Matas as an Arizona basketball player definitely makes a ton of sense. But, that feels like a Bulls type player. Murphy Boyles, if the Kings were taking 13, a non-3-point shooter, that feels like a Kings type player. You know what? Murphy Boyle could be a sneaky Raptor. Malik is a good Raptor for sure. But, I don't know, I'm just thinking defense, they have a lot of creators already in place, a lot of like the perimeter wings with Ingram and Barrett, and Quickly's more of a guard. Scotty Barnes as well too is definitely a 4, but not necessarily going to be around the basket type 4. So maybe Scotty Barnes is the Draymond type for the team, but also supercharged could be the lead. If Draymond was the lead creator, is that obviously the highest level of what Scotty Barnes could get to? But does that also mean that it would be a little reductive with a guy like Murphy Boyles as well? Could potentially be the case, chat. So who else is good at 3-point shooting as well too? Who's I guess Coward of the Spurs at 14? Hey yo, Sam would be all in on that. Sorber at 15 to the Thunder would be a fun pick. And the Thunder at 15, I mean, as much as we were like, okay, where are they gonna, are they gonna get the third pick in the draft? Or are the Thunder gonna get Cooper Flagg? It looked like there for a second. That's still, basically a lottery pick, but a middle of the first round pick to get that. I mean, that's that, again, that's like we were saying, that spot where everybody's taking their swing and there's a safety net that you're usually that first couple of prospects there out of the lottery or out of the top 10 is a couple of guys that you're like, yeah, we usually really, really like that prospect. Again, Sorber is fun. You start getting into the Igor Denham, Danny Wolf too. Like Sorber might be the last kind of guy there. McNeely could be a Thunder guy for sure. Or maybe they go a little more stash as well too. But I could see them needing a player right away. Drake Powell, the lead vertical leap guy, only 10 points a game per 36, is not going to get him outside of, I guess, the 27th pick in the draft. We could see, I think, Walter Clayton go a little bit higher than some of the people are thinking. Again, you start looking, guys like Liam, I guess McNeely. McNeely was on that Cooper Flagg team, wasn't he, Chad? What's his vertical leap? Hey, yo, if he's 30 plus in the standing vert, we're going to give him his due respect, chat. Where is he at? Wait, we have it sorted by max vert. Standing vert, Liam McNeely, 30 and a half and 36 on the max. So Liam McNeely, good athlete. Can we get a confirm on the lateral quickness, chat? If Danny Chow is a fan of Liam McNeely's lateral quickness, then so am I. Like, why would we like McNeely more than Knipple? I don't know. But maybe it would be more of a draft range situation. Kispert. So again, similar comps. McNeely and Knipple, but 20 spots, 15 spots separating the prospects. Less defensible in how he performed inside the arc, as he often seems stiff. Whoa! As a finisher. So something getting him riled up there as he's going to the basket. So because of his athletic limitations, will never be a major impact defensively, but his size and feel for where he should be should allow him to avoid to be major negative impact. And that is the thing, is like, a 6'8", almost, and as a 6'9" wingspan, like he's a little more plus athlete size-wise than Knipple as well too. Where Knipple could just get picked on and attacked and like posted up over some bigger guys like McNeely's, maybe staying in front of some more matchup stuff as well too. Satoransky, Caleb Houston, Sam Hauser, a little bit concerning as well too, but Sam Hauser, I just don't know if he's going to be as lights out as Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser is pretty good. Lee McDonough hitting 43% just from 3 or from a standstill, and with space he was money. Okay, yeah, Chad, literally if he's just shooting wide open, not moving, he's a good 3-point shooter. Okay, hot take for a D1 athlete, but it's just that this UConn team took a major dip in an unguarded catch and shoot looks compared to Dan Hurley's 2 past national champion squads. And I guess McNeely was more important as well too this past year, so he's going to be playing less off the ball as well. But I still have Kispert stock in the league, so I wouldn't mind taking Kispert in the middle of the draft as well, unless there's some really, more exciting comp guys out there. McNeely versus Murphy Boyles versus Asa Newell. So what's going on with Asa Newell, chat? 3-point percentage, 29. Uh-oh. That's not necessarily going to get our attention. A 54% will, for sure. 6 rebounds, so 8.5 rebounds per 36. A block and a steal as a 6'10 power forward. So he's like an okay 3-point shooter. The blocks and the steals. Is this like a him versus Ace Bailey thing in 5 years? It's like, okay, their stats were the same, their physical profiles were the same, but Asa Newell just hustled more or whatever. Because again, it's not like Ace Bailey was the 40%. Was he 40% from 3? No, yeah, he was 34% from 3, 46% from the field. So pretty similar 6'8", 6'10" type guys. But again, Ace Bailey, a little bit more pedigree and has shown his upside as well, too, to be able to create space for himself in those types of situations. It's not necessarily impossible to project. Oh, Tankathon, don't quit on us now. Computer, you were loading so good. Oh, Tankathon. Chat. Tankathon just timed out. It is what it is. We got to give it a second to catch up. Oh, chat. This may be it for Tankathon for the night. It's really struggling right now. We may have to reload. Okay, Tankathon, RIP. Not right now. It is what it is. Okay, McNeely, chat. Corey Kispert. Nua Esonu 6'9", super young, gnarly, gangly athlete. Whoa. Who's constellation of unrefined talents. Whoa. What a sentence, chat. Let's say that one again. A super young and gangly athlete whose constellation of unrefined talents could point to star upside. Hey, yo, did Danny Chow write that? Was he in his bag for that one, chat? Constellation of unrefined talents is a bar. Somebody send that to Kendrick. But 18 a game. Darius Baisley? Moment of pause for that. Tayshaun Prince, Bilal Koulibaly, and Isaac Bonga as the other comps. Will Riley. We're just literally just reading out the draft board at this point. Jed Howard. Okay, chat. Jace Richardson. We need to find another possible highlight to watch here real quick. We need to actually... once we lose Tankathon, chat, we just have no guiding North Star at this point. Tankathon really is our draft North Star. So let's get this sucker loaded back up. 21 hours, chat. Count it down. 21 hours, 7 minutes, 53 seconds. Look at this. Look at this. We are locking in. I guess we could look at some potential trades as well, too. Again, we know Dallas probably not trading the #1 pick. I don't know. We go #1 pick trade value, but the Jaylen Brown one is still a funny one if that were to happen. We both love me and Sam both love Jaylen Brown as well too. So we would at least have 7 to 8% of ourselves that would defend it. The #1 overall pick for LeBron. Do you trade Whoa. Do you trade Cooper Flagg for LeBron right now? I don't know, chat. But Cooper Flagg to the Thunder. Jalen Williams. Whoa. Did Jalen Williams, after this finals, play himself good enough to not be traded for the #1? Who would say no in that situation, chat? The Thunder, you would feel like with the way Cooper Flagg has been talked about as a prospect, you would have to take him because maybe, again, it's could he be a #1 guy? But Jalen Williams kind of showed some stuff, chat. And the conversation obviously becomes as well, too, your ability to get the guy to the your ability to get the team to the finals versus your ability to win the finals and have good performances once you're in that moment. But I really do trust Jalen Williams, chat. I think he is, and we've always been pro Jalen Williams as well, too, as a player. So that is definitely a fun alternative as well. And another younger player, so you're not crazy timeline reset. Chat, I got to grab a protein bar after that one. That's a crazy trade. Wait, I got to think about. Let's see what we got over here. I see a box, chat. I see something. Okay, spell it out, chat. We're cooking. We're cooking. And make no mistake, your boy's about to go eat. Oh. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. Make no mistake, your boy's about to go eat in a second. Anyways, tummy's starting to growl, chat. It is what it is. First overall pick out of the fridge. We will see in a second, I guess. But that, I think, is an honest conversation. That is good. And again, Jalen Williams just made a third team All-NBA. So he has that already top 15 upside, and then showed in the finals that he could lead games, score 40 points, be a clutch performer on the big stage. Whoa, crunch, crunch, crunch that. We'll mute for a second. Respectful mute. And you wouldn't even have to really worry about the contracts too much at this point, because obviously there's future contracts, but at only $6.5 million on that rookie deal, it's not like you would have to send too much back, obviously. And the number 1 pick is pretty much good enough to make up for any players that you're sending back as well, too. Almost like Max Christie and Cooper Flagg, too much, chat, for Jalen Williams. You'd have to send, Powell, pick up his player option. Max. But some of those young guys as well, too, there's some upside. So, Powell for Jalen Williams, does this work for the Mavs side of things? I don't know if it will here. Let's see. Oh! And their 7 wins better. Of course, way better. But not accounting for the fact that they're going to get Cooper Flagg. So that'd be a weird timeline debate as well, too. Jalen Williams, like a couple years in with Davis, chat. Is that ready to win a title right now? If Jalen Williams is going to take another step up, and then is he like a second-team All-NBA guy next year, and Davis is also second-team, and then, now you have Kyrie for the next 3 years? That's a fun one, chat. I'm not going to lie. That is a fun one. And is there a... Let me think about this. Halliburton for Flagg? How does that make sense, chat, for either team? Because if you're the Mavs, you think, okay, you want to get everybody on the same timeline? Bam, Halliburton's hurt, so that's perfect. Let's just get everybody on the same timeline that way. They'll all be healthy in 3 years. So, in 2028, the Mavs will look good as everybody finally takes the court, or they're retired. And this is going to be a funny one for Thunders fans tuning in. We should throw the number 1 pick into this trade just so it's not sitting here looking like it's just Dwight Powell for Jalen Williams, chat. Hey, yo, that's not the projected pick that we're Jalen Williams in the number 1, or Dwight Powell in the number 1 overall pick for Jalen Williams. Here we go, is what we're trying to project out here. Would they do this? So, what were we saying there again, chat? Yeah, either way, I guess. For him to the Pacers. So you're thinking Cooper Flagg, Pascal Siakam. If the Mavs could be the feisty team in the West with Cooper Flagg, could the Pacers be back in the Eastern Conference Finals with Cooper Flagg? Who knows? And then if you're the Mavs, again, you get Halliburton injured, so him and Davis, that'd be a weird timeline thing. But you would think, okay, Halliburton just proved that he is both a guy that can take your team to the finals and kind of be a little bit of a star as well, too. Definitely a likable guy. People were definitely gravitating toward that Pacers team. And definitely really bummed out that he got hurt as well, too. I think most people were rooting for Indiana in that game. But it would be a little tough for the injury thing. And, as much as we talk about Jaylen Brown in the trade thing, I do think that Tatum, as much as it would maybe be a quick conversation, as much you would think that is a no conversation, I do think they would have to think about that. Tatum for the number 1. I guess the contracts would be the difficult part of that. The Kyrie extension. Hey, yo, bye-bye. Now we're trading you for Tatum. Could you Clay and Gafford and PJ Washington start pairing all that stuff together? Probably not going to quite make it work. But Flagg for Tatum, or Flagg and a couple of, something else, Chad, if they had that ability for Tatum, I don't think it's not too far off. Where I think, to be honest, again, more the contracts of it would be the contract logistics of that number 1 pick contract not even existing yet, and then Tatum's $54 million deal right now versus the player talent of Tatum and the projected talent of Flagg. And the 1 year thing, Tatum and Flagg and Simons next year in Boston with Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard. It's a fun team, chat. It's a fun team. And reset your timeline with Cooper Flagg and Anthony Simons as your next duo. I could see it really working, but that one's a little bit more unrealistic here. Miami, Bam probably not going to get the number 1 overall pick, which, with as much as we love Bam, Franz probably not quite as well too, though there is a little, Cooper Flagg, sort of a supercharged Franz as well too. See, the fun piece of it is in the Mavs, of course. I was gonna say, are they a more win now team with Anthony Davis? But they're also with the mindset of, okay, we have to replace Luka Doncic, even though we're the ones that just trade him. So getting that young franchise centerpiece is definitely obviously important, and they had it with Luka Doncic. I'm not saying that, but I'm just like the idea that they have Davis. It's like the idea that they could get a little still panicky and trade for an older player. It's still not off the table because Cooper Flagg is going to be a win now guy, and that's going to help. But if Cooper Flagg was even like a little bit of a development prospect as well too, that might make it a little bit more interesting. We did save Flagg for Giannis. I gotta be honest, chat. Jalen Williams might be number one. Well, I mean, is he not? Is he number one overall on the board? But he's on the board right now. Jalen Williams is. There's no way he's not in the top 5 of guys that we wouldn't trade the number 1 pick for. And like realistically, right now, I don't know if it would be unrealistic if Milwaukee wouldn't trade the number 1 overall pick for Cooper Flagg. And I think that the Giannis piece of it, where him maybe looking at this now thinking he can win a title in the East, like maybe at this point it would be the opposite of what we were thinking, where it's like Giannis wants to request a trade and he's the one that wants to leave. Maybe it would be the other way where Giannis doesn't. He's like, why would I want to go to the Mavs and try to win a title with Anthony Davis in the West? Like that's just gonna be more difficult. Can we get Anthony Davis over here to the East? Hey yo, but if you're the Mavs, like you want to get a title window around Anthony Davis, bring in Giannis. And I mean Giannis and Davis would be crazy. We're talking about Giannis and Wemby. But again, the contracts would be wild. So Flagg and Kyrie, is that too much? Cooper Flagg, he brings that trade value up so much you can't even trade for Giannis. It has to be. Now you throw Dame in, it's going to be too much money. But I'm just saying the player for player of that, as much as we love Giannis, or as much as we love Flagg as a prospect, as much as we love the smart team building of the number 1 pick and all the different stuff, like. That just would be a crazy duo and a fun championship timeline to try to see. So I guess, again, the rookie contract of it makes Jalen Williams probably the most, one of the most likely as well, too, to reasonably, if a guy could reasonably get traded for that number 1 pick. Like Darius Garland, as good as he is, probably not in a 1-for-1, is going to swing that deal. Even Mitchell would be a little interesting. Mitchell would be a fun one. Kyrie and the 1 for Mitchell, probably too much. Is there a guy like $16 million a year that you could trade like the number 1 pick and Clay for that player? I don't know. Booker, chat, not $16 million a year, but would you trade Cooper Flagg and Kyrie for Booker? That would be interesting. Cooper Flagg and Davis for Booker, probably too much. If you could send Jalen Green back out, let's do some weird contract swapping stuff with Davis and Clay and Booker and Jalen Green and the number 1 pick going back, but that might, or I guess the Suns can't aggregate as well too because they are a second apron team. Nobody probably on the Bulls, nobody on the Rockets. Amen Thompson for Cooper Flagg. I don't think you can do that, chat. I think Amen Thompson is such a special athlete that the basketball stuff for Cooper Flagg is obviously very tempting, and we all know that there's a great skill set there to work with. Definitely a more diverse basketball skill set than Amen Thompson as of right now. But if you're thinking what's special about Cooper Flagg, two-way versatility. Well, Amen Thompson, and again, Cooper Flagg probably a better all-around offensive player. But Amen Thompson, better defender, more athletic upside. And if his athleticism is able to translate to the same way that's like, okay, Jokic, more diverse skill set. Giannis, same impact on offense. Doesn't matter. Who cares if he's got one move? His one move works just as good as Jokic whipping all these passes and making all these tough baskets. Like Giannis is like, I don't even need to worry about taking tough jumpers. I'm just putting my head down, getting to the basket, and scoring 2 points every time. But yeah, Amen Thompson is just, I think, because of his athleticism and the defensive upside and his 1-for-1-ness. I guess Cooper Flagg does have some uniqueness, but I think, again, as a sort of do-it-all forward, him and Tatum and some of these other guys, and some of the bigger guards as well, too, a guy like Luka kind of, or even Anthony Edwards maybe, can kind of fit into that category as well, too. Not to say that those guys aren't special players. Well, what am I saying? But just, and Edwards does have that special athleticism as well, too. But Thompson at that forwardy position with it, and then add in his playmaking skills, it is a fun duo. Edwards for the number 1 overall pick. I think Minnesota would, or I think I think Dallas would probably do that if they just maybe a track record of Nico Harrison liking players that are in the league right now. I don't know if Anthony Davis or Anthony Edwards too good maybe for Nico Harrison at this point, but I could definitely see him winning that. Right now, we know he's a superstar type guy, and I guess we do know that Cooper Flagg is a superstar as well too. Obviously, Steph. Would you trade the #1 pick for Steph? Would be that would shake up the league. That would be number 2, just again in terms of I guess the contracts are going to be the killer. You're not going to be able to bring in Steph's contract. So another rookie, Scoot, trading Scoot for the Portland making more moves. Zion, Ja, Jaren Jackson. Oh, don't lock up on me now, Span. Trade machine. We'll hit the old reset button. It'll be okay. We'll be back and cooking. But do we have more trade value on the #1 pick or on the #2 pick than we do on the #1 pick? We might, chat. We literally might. Again, maybe not a player thing, but the timeline fit of it, it's perfect. So Cooper Flagg, it's like, works with every team, every situation, anybody. It doesn't matter. But the Spurs, we know we need more backcourt help as well. We need, help everywhere, but we get more backcourt help. Dylan Harper, we love his scoring, and it seems like there's a lot of great pieces there to work with. San Antonio would need to give up quite the haul. Oh, chat. Internet's just time. We got too many tabs open right now. Let's get some of these cleared out here. So, yeah, 1 and 2 are good. Philly, again, I guess just a mini preview here before we get into it tomorrow night. And before we take off for tonight at this point. But, yeah, Philly at number 3, looking for a trade down. And I don't know if that is necessarily going to happen. Because, again, is there a spacing here with the 3 to whatever pick where is there value in jumping up in this draft from 3 to 7? It may be unfortunate that it looked like it was going to be a 3-player draft for a second there with Ace Bailey, and then I don't think it was just the rep thing as well too. I think, to be honest, I think what they were doing was in reaction to what had happened, because it seemed like, and maybe part of it was Philly needing just a different type of prospect as well too with their team right now, but with the sort of push to Edgecombe starting to make that move at number 3, and now of course like we're seeing a guy like Trey Johnson's moving up, Knipple is moving up as well too. Like, I think they saw all the other guys moving up and decided to take this route because of that. If Ace Bailey had obviously just been solidified as the 3rd pick in the draft, there would have been no reason to do these types of moves or whatever. And I guess not even them not being a top 2 pick in the draft. I just think them falling from where they were at from 3, and it's like, okay, well, we don't want to tumble out down to like 9 or 10 or whatever. But, yeah, Philly, I think, is, like we were saying, I think we know what those guys are going to be in this range from Knipple. And I guess, is Knipple off the board for Philly as well, too? I still don't really know. So I guess FanDuel is the place to check here real quick before we head out, chat. So, like I said, we will, of course, be here tomorrow night following along for the first round of the NBA draft. The NBA draft is, of course, now split into 2 nights. So we got night 1, first round, night 2, second round. We'll be here live tomorrow night for the first round of the NBA draft. Once the Spurs take Dylan Harper, we're going to go celebrate. So, no, of course, we'll be here for the whole first round, chat. But we will celebrate the pick of Dylan Harper, unless, there's a trade for Giannis or who else? Giannis, Jokic. Of course, if the Spurs traded Dylan Harper for Luka, like, are we gonna be upset about that? Probably not. Shea, I guess, I said that reluctantly, Chad. I've wanted Shea this entire time, and now that he won Finals MVP, it's like, oh well, bummer, Chad. Shea, use goods. Hey, yo, but as a Finals MVP, maybe that would actually be more like, okay, well, yeah, proven that he needs to be on the team now even more. Obviously, that makes his trade value go up a little bit higher, but we don't have any NBA draft odds, chat. What's going on here? Am I crazy? Did I not see that? Nothing in the NBA tab. FanDuel, step it up. What's going on here? We got 0 WNBA, or we got WNBA, shout out, great stuff, but 0 NBA draft odds the night before the draft, 24 hours out from the draft. Is there, because there's literally this little information that Vegas doesn't even know? Man, Chad, so if Vegas doesn't even know, then definitely be tuned in tomorrow night, because that means there's going to be chaos. Still more trades potentially to happen. I mean, Paul George on Philly, of course, is a player we have to look for. I think maybe Bridges on the Hornets for sure. Markkanen, you get 5. I guess who is the player as well too that's gonna be like 5 and Markkanen for player. I guess I get Jaylen Brown or whatever, but Washington. It's like Zion. Do we get a draft night Zion trade? A draft night Cam Johnson trade? A draft night Scotty Barnes trade? Scotty Barnes to Philly for 8. Philly goes back to 8. Brooklyn goes up to 3. And they get Scotty Barnes to move up 5 picks. Is there something else in that deal, chat? I guess it's mainly me more thinking, okay, Scotty Barnes on Philly could be kind of fun. If you could somehow end up with Scotty Barnes in the 8th pick, I mean, that'd be a pretty win, you would assume a win trade for Philly. But I don't know if logistically there is something in there that can even make sense like that. So you would have Toronto moving up 8 spots to acquire. Oh, chat, the trade machine's not going to work for us. For some reason, the Canadian team, chat, AO doesn't want to load the Canadian team. Come on, Fanspo. Don't be like that. Just, oh, chat. We got technical difficulties with the link. Fanspo, they've taken down the trade machine. It is what it is. Okay, well, is that a wrap on tonight's episode, chat? The trade machine's done, so the trade. Well, I guess was there anything else to mention about scrolling through Tankathon there, other than just stay tuned, be locked in. We will be here, of course. The live streams go up on the podcast feed, so you guys can, watch them over there, and you guys can message us all your draft takes, your draft reactions, your player comparisons, chat, over on the DMs are open at REMINGTOM on Instagram if you guys want to hang out with us over there, communicate with us over there as well too. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. The draft is always, if not the most fun sporting event just in general. So yeah, hey yo, I think we all know that, right? Who cares about the Super Bowl when you can watch the NBA draft in June after an 82-game finals season plus the playoffs? We're all definitely looking forward to the draft by the time that clock is striking on Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And here we go, chat. The whole NBA season is played for this, not the finals, the NBA draft. Who will get Cooper Flagg? Who will get Dylan Harper? Who will get these guys? We will find out tomorrow, chat. We will find out tomorrow. First round of the draft is live, and we will be live on the couch waiting to add a new jersey, chat. A new jersey to the couch, Dylan Harper. Maybe. We'll just have to see, chat. We'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, be here tomorrow night for us as we watch the NBA draft. It'll be fun. We love hanging out with you guys, and the draft is going to be a great time to hang out for sure. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and thank you guys for jumping on with us tonight.